Charlie Brown, now Charlie Brown.
I can't believe it. She must think I'm the most stupid person alive.
Come on, Charlie Brown. I'll hold the ball and you kick it.
Hold it? Ha! You'll pull it away and I'll land flat on my back and kill myself.
But Charlie Brown, it's Thanksgiving.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, one of the greatest traditions we have is the Thanksgiving Day football game. And the biggest, most important tradition of all is the kicking off of the football.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Come on, Charlie Brown. It's a big honor for you.
Well, if it's that important, a person should never turn down a big honor. Maybe I should do it. Besides, she wouldn't try to trick me on a traditional holiday. This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon!
Happy Thanksgiving from the Sort of Sports Big Salad Podcast. Hit it, George.
If it was a regular salad, I wouldn't have said anything. But you had to have that big salad!
And here's your co-host and producer, Ryan Klinger.
Thank you. I'm still really getting used to these holiday openings. You just informed me today. That's the reason we've been doing it this way. It's because of the holidays, and I was unaware. So, yeah, it's still weird to be thrown to instead of me throwing at you, but it's fun. It spices things up for the holidays.
Spice things up.
Can you tell everybody our holiday schedule, or do you want to surprise them?
We will tell you a little bit of the holiday schedule. So next week, we will be celebrating Hanukkah, first day of Hanukkah.
Yes.
Remember, if you...
As big Seinfeld fans, we must.
We must be, because George and Jerry are both Jewish. So here's the thing. If you don't know anything about the Jewish religion, that their days start when the sun sets, not when the sun rises. So Hanukkah will start next Sunday night is when it opens up, and it lasts 8 days. Yes, so you light another candle for the menorah, and... every night. So
interesting.
Yes, it is. It's very interesting. It is. So, and then after that, no holiday. Well, holiday. Yes, because we'll do the pre-Christmas. We'll do a pre-Christmas.
Post-Christmas.
And then after Christmas comes back, we got Kwanzaa and New Year's Day. And then once we get into the new year, we won't have another holiday until Martin Luther King Day. And that's it.
Wow.
I mean, but it's all these holidays we got. You got to serve them
What
up.
are we going to do for the MLK show? What's the
I don't
special?
know.
You'll think of something.
Maybe
That's why you're the host.
Maybe a clip from the I Have a Dream.
Yeah.
I Have a Dream speech.
Maybe the game for that episode is what each NFL team would dream for in the playoffs.
Well, we'll already through the divisionals, so that'll be interesting.
Wouldn't that be a good...
I mean, the wild card, excuse me, the wild card.
Because now that we're on the Thanksgiving episode, this Thanksgiving, we are doing the segment, which is what every NFL division leader should be thankful for.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, I know, I caught you off guard.
So that obviously, is this a off the script or the special section?
That's the special section, I guess, now that you said that, because there was something that was going to be my special section, but I guess I'll open with this. I told you I was going to go a little off the rails this episode.
Hold on, before we go off the rails, we got to set the scene real quick.
Okay.
In today's episode, Vikings win, Bills lose, Huskies get shocked, and LeBron comes back. We'll begin today with Ryan's off-script question.
I have 4 things written down.
He's got 4 things written down, so we're going to have 9 headlines today, and we got a lot of who you gots as we go on. But anyway.
All right, well, it is Rivalry Week, which is very exciting. We're both big college football people. Not having a favorite team makes Rivalry Week very interesting, because I can participate in everybody's rivalry while simultaneously participating in no one's rivalry. And that was a lot of syllables. So, what I wanted to open with is I was thinking, you mentioned scheduling. We might have to extend our schedule, Quinn, because in case you didn't know, spring football is coming. The USFL unveiled today the teams for the USFL League. They have 8 teams.
Well,
the Michigan Panthers,
Okay.
the New Jersey Generals, the Philadelphia Stars, and the Pittsburgh Maulers. That's my favorite team.
Giving me an excuse to go back to Pittsburgh again.
And then they've got I think it's the Birmingham Stallions. And
Interesting.
The
City
Houston
choice.
Gamblers, the New Orleans Breakers, and
Oh, it's New Orleans.
there's one more. The Tampa Bay Bandits. Let me pull this up.
Okay.
Yes,
that's
Birmingham
correct.
Stallions.
Interesting.
So as you can see, they're going for a lot more college football cities. I mean, Pittsburgh, obviously big at the NFL, but
Yes.
New Jersey doesn't have an NFL team. I think Michigan Panthers.
kind of. They kind of do.
I guess it's true.
Because their stadium's in New Jersey, but in the city of New York.
Yeah. So New Orleans Breakers, I text my buddy. He already said that's his team. I think it's fun whenever there's a new league like this because I literally have no alliance to any of these teams. I have no clue how good or bad they're going to be. There's no history anywhere here except for some of these teams were original USFL teams, but that doesn't really matter now. So I mean, I'm picking it right now. I'm either going to be Philadelphia Stars or Pittsburgh Maulers. I think I'm going to be a Pittsburgh Maulers fan.
Oh.
They got orange and purple because I thought about Tampa Bay Bandits. It's red and black Bandits. It's sweet.
Yes.
But I'm like, red and black's my school colors, and I have a lot of red and black stuff. I'm like, I got to go something weird because this is, I'm going to be a fan of a whole new league, and if this is successful,
Right.
which I truly do believe there's a real market for spring football. I mean, we saw it with the XFL, Quinn. Those numbers they had were insane. They were going to be able, if COVID didn't happen, they were beating the NBA in ratings. They were beating the NBA in NBA Wednesday nights on TNT were getting beat out. Like the ratings they had on TNT on Wednesday nights were getting beat out by the XFL ratings on Saturday nights. So, yeah, Saturday nights. And then the Sunday day games were also big, too. So, the XFL is doing really well. But the USFL, they're coming back next year, apparently.
Yep.
But the USFL might have beat them to the punch here, come out in 2022. Because I think
Possible.
whichever one's first is going to be big. Now, what I think would be interesting is if the XFL really does stack that back, they do their own Super Bowl type thing, where it's the XFL champ versus the USFL champ. So, the way it's going to work is that there's two divisions. The I think it's north-south or east-west. I think it's north-south. I don't know. But Stallions, the Birmingham, Houston Gamblers, New Orleans Breakers, and Tampa Bay Bandits are a division. And then the Pittsburgh Maulers, Philadelphia Stars, New Jersey Generals, Michigan Panthers are a division. It's 10 games in the regular season.
Okay.
So it's all Fox owns this whole league.
Okay.
So all the games will be on FS1 and Fox. Which sucks kind of because Fox is the worst out of the main three for football. I wish it was CBS, but
CBS.
whatever. They've got some guy from the Cowboys Super Bowl teams that's helping, the vice president of football. No, people seemed excited to have him around.
Okay.
I couldn't remember the name. But that's who they have. They just announced these. I think it was today, right? The 22nd. Yeah, they announced these today.
today.
So I'm on the ball for once.
Look at you.
And then the Panthers stuff, the Michigan Panthers. I almost thought about that, but I'm like, am I really just gonna like another team called the Panthers? I'm like, I'm not doing that. So that's why I went Pittsburgh Maulers. I think orange and purple will really diversify my closet a bit. I don't own any purple or orange, really.
You're going to be a Clemson fan.
Yeah, but I do think it's pretty sweet. Look at the guy with the.
I do. I like it.
Yeah, I'll put this logo.
Obviously, has to be related to the steel industry.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's smart doing that. But the way it's going to work, I think, is that so every team will play their own division twice. Every team their own division twice, and then the ones the other division once. And then whichever team has the best record out of each division will go to the championship, which I think it's either the top. I think it's the top. Yeah, it's the top team in each division will go for the USFL championship, and then that'll happen in I think early May. And the way it's going to work is because of cost. They're going to see if they can build an audience. Every game's being played in Birmingham, in this one stadium.
They're going to put it in a hub.
They're putting it in a hub.
Kind of a COVID hub.
Yeah, essentially, because they don't want to spend all the money on arenas until they have a good fan base. So if they get a bunch of money here, they still, of course, have a team called the Houston Gamblers. They're not going to be playing in Houston yet.
Right.
But they're going to build up a fan base, and then if this does well, then they're going to actually go to the arenas.
There you
Which I
go.
think is pretty smart and makes sense economically.
Or-
so I hope it does well because I really like the idea of spring football. I think it's fun to have new teams. And, I mean, P.J. Walker is a great success story.
Yeah.
When the XFL was around, he was like the MVP. He was like the Patrick
agree.
Mahomes of the XFL. He was tearing it up.
Yes.
And then now he's a really good backup for the Panthers.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it. So let me ask Quinn, are you going to be a Pittsburgh Maulers fan with me?
I don't know if I'm going to be a fan of any, but I might tune into it. I mean, it'll depend. Probably the season starts.
I think it's April.
Yeah,
It just
take
says
the
April.
field
They
in
haven't said
April.
when.
So, I mean, it's post-March Madness, so it's a dead period in sports. I mean, it's opening day, but those kinds of things, it's not going to be.
Yeah, and it's
So it's a
right. It's
possibility.
right
It's a
before the NFL
possibility.
NBA playoffs. So I think we might have to extend our deadline depending on how much we like the USFL. Maybe our last
Hey, we're all the way
episode,
through to the draft, which is already the first week of May.
the NFL draft. If it falls after the NFL draft, we're going to have to talk because if we
gonna
really get
talk.
into this USFL thing, maybe we got to end with the USFL championship.
Possible.
It just
then
depends.
we're already getting into it. I bet this is what's going to happen. You got to think about this. Let's just say, are they going to have a bye in this schedule? They might.
So 11 weeks would be...
11 weeks, and then you got to play a championship. That's 12 weeks. So we go...
That's 4 months. 3 months. 3 months.
2, end of June, right when the NBA playoffs are going on. So there could
So
be
then
a
at that point,
There could be
yeah,
a mess.
you're right. We might as well just stick to our current schedule.
That's right.
You're right. Barring any unforeseen
want me to
changes,
get-
we should end with the NFL draft
If you
review.
if you want to get into summer talk, I got to get on my tennis high horse because I love tennis.
True. And Summer, you and I have a lot of problems scheduling. Mm-hmm. That's what we're
It's
going
like
to
I
do.
go to work.
Yeah, same here. So
There you go. We both got to go to work.
we'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. But for
We'll
the
see.
time being, we definitely, once opening week of this, you're going to have to be tuning in and picking your
Right.
team because I'm pretty excited for this whole thing. I think
Right.
it's fun. So, Pittsburgh Maulers. I think it's going to be my team. I don't even know what a mauler is, but it's
Well.
like some of the steel industry. I thought about Houston Gamblers, but they look like a red, red, yellow, navy blue team. And I'm like, eh.
Mm-hmm.
So none of the color schemes really pop out to me other than the New Orleans one, the Tampa Bay one, the Stars, and the Pittsburgh. And I decided to go Pittsburgh because I own like no orange clothing, like genuinely none. And I own like barely any purple clothing either. It's because I don't really like purple. So orange and purple, I'm going to try something new. So yes, I'm sorry I took us off the rails. I've been a wild man. Now, do you want my next headline or are we going into yours?
You want to flip back and forth?
Yes, sorry.
All right.
It's just Rogue Ryan this week. I've got a lot I wanted to say.
Rogue Ryan.
I've got a lot I've been thinking about. And I was like, I
Okay.
got to tell Quinn this.
Okay. Yesterday, Kirk Cousins led the Minnesota Vikings over the Green Bay Packers for a 34-31 win, being on the right side of a game-winning field goal this season. The Colts went up to Buffalo in the elements and destroyed the Bills, turning them over 5 times during the game. And Jonathan Taylor scored 5 touchdowns for the Colts. So who had the better win yesterday, Ryan? The Vikes or the Colts?
You know, I honestly think Vikings, but I want to say that Jonathan Taylor video I've been working on aged like fine freaking wine. Holy crap. Because I'm pulling up all these numbers pointing out how underrated Taylor is. Mm-hmm. Then he goes off and has like one of the best running back games in NFL history. 5 touchdowns. Like, insane. So, yeah, I'm actually going to add to that script and put a part that's like, yeah, I was planning to make this video 2 weeks ago. And then Jonathan Taylor just decided to prove my point even more and had these numbers. And I'll just be like, holy crap. So, yeah, be on the lookout within the next week. That Jonathan Taylor video should come out. I'm still working on a title. I need to find something catchy that's not, Jonathan Taylor's underrated, dang it. Like, I need to find...
JT the Jet.
That's really good. I might have to... Yeah, that might be it. So, that was actually one of my points, was the Jonathan Taylor. So, there goes one of my headlines. I just wanted to say, Jonathan Taylor, one of my favorite running backs in the NFL. It's probably Chubb, then him. It's like, I really like it, and then McCaffrey, obviously.
What?
But, yeah.
McCaffrey, who would be your number 1?
Well, I really like Chubb because I watched a lot of Browns games living in Ohio. So
True that, because, when you got no Sunday ticket, you can't venture around the dial. I had 5 games going on at 1
yeah,
o'clock.
I know. I'm jealous.
So,
But,
gotta get that direct TV.
Thing
back
is,
here.
the Vikings did get the better win because the Vikings are definitely in playoff contention now. I mean, I have a headline, which we might be sneaking into here when I start to talk.
Oh!
My other headline, I lied, I guess I kind of have 5 headlines, is, we've been saying this for weeks, but holy crap, this is like the craziest NFL season ever. Like, let's look at this. Let's pull up these NFL standings, all right? I feel like we do this every week,
I got 'em.
but it's worth it.
I got him right here.
Pull them up.
In the playoffs, or what do you want?
Give me the playoff brackets.
All right, here we go. In the AFC, number 1, Tennessee. 2, Baltimore. 3, New England. 4, Kansas City. 5, Cincinnati. 6, Los Angeles Chargers. 7, Buffalo. 8, Pittsburgh. That's the end. That's the cutoff at the 7 and the 8, in between 7 and 8. And the NFC, 1, Arizona. 2, Green Bay. 3, Dallas. 4, Tampa Bay. 5, Los Angeles Rams. 6, Minnesota Vikings. 7, New Orleans. And outside looking in, number 8, San Francisco. So there you go.
Yeah. So, like, as you said, Minnesota's 6th right now. And I do believe my Panthers could make a run here. As long as
They're
they
5 and 6,
they have to beat if they beat the Bills and they beat the Bucks once, which I do think is quite unlikely. But here's what's weird.
Always possible.
Here's what's weird is that our defense lost us the game against Washington, but yet our defense has been the thing that's been keeping us in games. So why, when Cam Newton shows up, it was really
well, they expected Superman to fly him out of danger.
I guess it was really bad play from the defense. I was very disappointed. But other than that, I do think the Panthers still a good team. But they definitely they have to beat the Saints. Like when you play, you literally have to beat the Saints, and I think they're gonna beat the Saints. Yep. And then they have to beat the Bucs once. And they have to beat the Bills. Now, granted, the cows are coming home. The Bills are coming home because holy crap! We've been saying it for weeks. Well, I've been saying it for weeks. I've been saying it since day freaking one. The Bills aren't that good, and it's been shown that defense is borderline terrible. Josh Allen is good, but he's not.
Whoa. Let's slow the roll there. Statistically, I'm not saying statistics are the best, but the Bills had the number 1 scoring defense before yesterday.
True.
Okay?
That's fine.
So you can't say that the defense is
When
horrible.
you watch the Bills game, it looks like you could cut through their defense with a running back like butter. They have no run defense.
My team beat them week 1.
True. Because you know why? Because they suck.
Yeah, that team, not my team. But anyway, here's the schedule for your Bills. Not your Bills. For Chad Hobbs's Bills. At Saints, home against Patriots. At Bucks, home against Panthers. At Patriots, home against Falcons. Home against the Jets. So they got a slog right there to close out.
What's really terrible about that is that I think the Patriots are like one of the few teams in the AFC that I trust.
I don't know why. Well, this is what makes them trustable.
Because they're consistent. They hardly ever have a weird loss. The only one they have was against the Cowboys.
They got 4 tough games they got to face this week. Okay. They host the Titans.
Potential battle for Coach of the Year right there. Titans-Patriots.
At Bills. At Colts. Host the Bills. And then host the Jags at Miami. So they should get at least those 2 wins.
I honestly think
they could go 9-8 in this schedule.
They probably legitimately only lose one of those games. And it's either the Colts on a hot day or the Bills on a hot day.
What do you mean on a hot day? The other
like the other team's hot.
Well, then that's what I figured.
I'm saying because they're beating the Titans. They're beating the Titans.
Said it's 68.
They're beating the Titans. I would love to see my Colts sneak in the playoffs. I'm kind of calling them my Colts because I like JT.
You weren't calling them that when we were talking about Prince Harry earlier this year.
Well, I've gone on and off with the Colts. I'm not sure how to feel about them. Fine, they're not my Colts. They're the Colts. There we go. Okay. Sorry.
All right.
The Colts, I would like to see them sneak in, but I'm not sure if they can do it. The thing is, they do play in like the worst division in the NFL, AFC South.
Yes.
But I will say, Panthers did suffer a bad loss, but at least it was to the NFC team of the Big Salad. Washington.
That still needs help.
Now, here's my thing. Let's be real. Because Cowgirls are coming home, too. Playing like postseason halfway through the season Cowgirls. Where CD's out, Amari's out, and it's all the wheels are starting to fall off the Jerry Jones wagon.
I'm going to say this. That defense kept them in that game.
Yeah, I mean,
held them to 19
fine.
points. That's what you need.
Here's what I'm saying right here. Can the Eagles or Washington make a run, not for the division, but to make the playoffs? And that
you can make a run for the division there if the Cowboys collapse.
I think you and I are on record for the last 2 to 3 weeks liking the Eagles.
Okay.
Am I wrong? You and I both like the Eagles.
I'm saying I liking them. I'm just
I
saying
like what they have going on.
They've played consistent.
They've played quite well.
So here's the football team schedule. They host Seattle.
They could win that.
At Raiders, host Dallas. At Philadelphia, at Dallas, host Eagles, and then at the Giants. So all division games basically.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So really, the Eagles' schedule is going to be very similar.
Eagles, they're at Giants, at Jets, might as well just live there for the week, and then host the football team, host the Giants, at the football team, host the Cowboys.
So really, it's going to be one or the other.
Yeah.
I think it's the Eagles. I really like what they've been doing. I think Hurts is really playing well. Yes. I think they've been running the football a lot more and having quite good results, even without Miles Sanders.
And they ran all over the number 1 rushing defense in the league.
That's what I'm saying. I really like this Eagles team. I would like to see them make a bit of a playoff run. And I think they might be able, if the Cowboys keep playing badly, I mean, they could make a run for it. Granted, what's interesting about the Eagles is they're 1-4 at home.
I mean, the Cowboys they have some.
In Philadelphia, known for their rabid fans, they've only won 1 game at home. I just think it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, Cowboys, they host Las Vegas Thanksgiving. at New Orleans, at the football team, at the Giants. They could lose some of those games there because they're away. Host the football team, host the Cardinals, at the Eagles. So, interesting developments there.
Yeah. Well, I just think this season has been wild. Completely wild.
Don't worry, folks. It's just a little YouTube ad.
This season has been completely wild, and I've been really enjoying it. And that's why I'm sitting here thinking, there is no way. Like, please tell me there's no way we end up with, like, we all know I love Mahomes. Mahomes, like, my guy. But, like, him and Herbert and, like, Newton, definitely my 3 favorite quarterbacks. No one touches them. I still haven't decided who's my favorite, period. Because, like, while I've always been a big Mahomes guy. This is quite the personal dilemma. Because I've always been a Mahomes guy. I really like what Herbert's been doing, which is going to cycle into my point I'm going to make here in a bit.
Okay.
But I really like what Herbert's been doing. But granted, that's partially because he plays a lot like Mahomes. So, but then Cam's like my childhood hero. So it's really tough to pick between them. Point is this. We can't end with like a Packers-Chiefs Super Bowl. That can't happen. We need to have something freaking weird. I don't want something that was predicted at the beginning of the season. I don't want all this crazy year to end with a predict. You know what I mean? It just feels wrong. Super Bowl 56 has to be like, freaking like Patriots Rams. No one picked that. If you were a Patriots fan.
The Rams, but
okay. Well, Patriots Packers is fun.
It'd probably be the weirdest would be Patriots Cardinals because
that's weird.
Cardinals.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or Chargers Cardinals.
Colts Cardinals.
Chargers Cardinals.
Prince Harry's not making it.
Or like Ravens
Cardinals.
Ravens Cardinals. You just throw the Cardinals.
Cardinals because nobody was seeing them coming out this time.
Yeah, the NFC's kind of gone as predicted, except for the Cardinals being good and the Eagles maybe sneaking out of the NFC East. Eagles are expected to do pretty bad.
Yep.
So, I just think it's fun. I like how crazy this team year is. I also think whoever gets the wild card spot, like one of the the 6 or 7 seed in the AFC is going to be very happy because the Titans are going to be a division winner and they're going to play a wild card team. And if that's the Browns or if that's the Chargers, that's a win. Chargers tear up the Titans. And that brings up my Chargers point. The freaking offense.
Can I answer my question before you go into
Yes.
Thank you. It's the Minnesota Vikings.
It is the Vikings. Sorry. I told you it's Rogue Ryan.
We're getting the circular logic over here.
Yeah.
We're getting back to it. 360. It is the Minnesota Vikings because the Colts are still outside looking in. They're 9th or 10th in the AFC at the moment. So obviously there's a weird thing because my team with the tie and it's weirdo out there in the AFC as we've talked about. But the Vikings, Kirk Cousins statistically he's been one of the most consistent quarterbacks in this league the last 2-3 seasons for Mike Zimmer. And the Vikings, like I said, finally are on the right side of a game-winning field goal because they've lost to plenty of those this year.
Oh yeah, they always end up choking.
Yes, and they got a big win against the Pack because they're in the same division, so that will lessen the lead to 2.5 games instead of 3.5.
We always bellyache. A lot of NFL fans, including us, always bellyache about the Kirk Cousins. Why Minnesota has and they pay him so much. He's starting to prove that he's worth that.
He's always proved that statistically. If you look at his
career people don't like to give him the.
It's a 3-phase game. You can't just throw the ball.
What college Kirk Cousins from?
Michigan State.
That's what I thought. I was like, I think he's from Michigan State and Quinn will know.
Yep.
So what round he go in? Is he round 1?
No.
Washington.
Pretty sure he was 3rd or 4th.
Washington took him. He was the backup for RG3. And he took over.
They benched RG3 with the injuries and took.
What college RG3 go to?
Went to Baylor.
Oh crap! That's what it was. I knew it was somewhere weird.
You know these things.
I do, but then it just kind of slips me at the moment.
Oh. Are you gonna go talk about the Chargers offense real quick?
Yes, it's not ran right. They need to give Herbert more deep ball opportunities. They run too many slant routes. Honestly, if he had a coach like Andy Reid that actually take advantage of what he's good at, he'd legit be the MVP hands down. And he'd have 40 touchdowns or higher on the year. He'd be going crazy. He's got one of the best wide receiving core in the league. He's got a top 5 running back. He's got an amazing offense. And his O-line's pretty solid too, especially Leatherwood.
Leatherwood's not there.
It's the guy they read after in the first round.
Yeah, well, it's not Leatherwood.
What's that guy's name? Oh, crap. You're right. It's not Leatherwood. And
it's not Storm Norton either, because he had lunch penalties last night.
Oh, crap. It's the guy. It's a rookie. It's the rookie.
It's that guy. That guy.
It's that rookie they got. That's good.
There's an R right there.
It's not this.
Not him,
it's not that guy.
because he's a linebacker. It's not that guy. It's no. It's maybe that one that says guard/tackles.
Rashawn Slater.
It's Slater. Yes, it is.
Slater's good.
Yep.
And
I
he
agree.
was like the 13th pick.
He's on the left side. The right side was awful last night.
Yep.
Storm
And he
Norton was called for 3 or 4 penalties.
Yes, and he was great last night. When you were watching, Slater did really well.
He did.
I know he's got. I'm not the huge fan of the Pro Football Focus grades,
Me
but
either. Let's remember that it's Chris Collinsworth's company that they use on Chris Collinsworth's shows. So
yeah.
there you go.
I mean, but he does have a pretty good rating in that, and so I'm saying Slater's really good. He was a really good pickup by them.
Yeah, I agree.
And drafting offensive line is never sexy, but it usually pays off.
Yes, it does.
So
long-term investment.
like Sewell for
Yeah.
Lions. Which sucks for the Lions is they're gonna have the number 1 pick in a draft where they need a quarterback, but there's no clear number 1 pick quarterback.
I wouldn't give up on golf yet.
Neither would I. I would actually run Goff again
I would-
and draft and trade your pick for somebody that's really desperate. Get
I
some
don't even
pieces.
think you need to do that.
Just take the edge, take an edge rusher, or take an O line, or
They need help.
I would beef up your
Remember,
team.
they got plenty of picks because they have from the Rams.
Yeah, I would beef up your team, and if Carson Strong's sitting there in the second round, maybe you take Carson Strong since you have so many picks. But
I think
even
they
then, just run Boyle or Goff for
They
next
just need to
year.
shut Goff down now so he can get healthy because he's got a lot of health issues.
Yes,
Get
he
him
does.
Healthy. The back's hurting him.
I would go fine with
He's got
Goff.
TNS.
I would go fine with Goff because next year I think Bryce Young would be.
Tease him.
He'd be able to
But
be
if Goff
drafted.
comes out and has another good season, similar to 2018, then you keep him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying I'm starting to feel like it's a 2016 draft. Remember, like it wasn't like Wentz and Goff were like crazy amazing prospects.
No.
But the Rams needed a
But somehow
quarterback.
they both made it to a Super Bowl.
That's a good point. But I'm saying they both got drafted too high because there were no other quarterbacks. If they were in, for example, the
Inflated.
draft last year, they would go to the second round.
Yeah.
So I just think it's inflated value. I mean, the best quarterback in that draft was drafted in the 4th round, Dak Prescott. And this comes from a guy who's not even a huge Dak Prescott fan.
No, but statistically, he's there.
Yeah. But that's the
Rams
thing with the
now.
Chargers is Herbert's amazing for them, and they don't even use him properly. So I think they should have kept Anthony Lynn. Maybe this guy can get it together. I forget his name all of a sudden.
Staley is his
Thank
last
you. That's
name.
his name, Staley. And, yeah, Staley. So he, yeah.
Not the one.
No.
Not the Cardington teacher there,
No.
folks.
Yeah, so I've just been impressed with Herbert, and I'd like to see him make a playoff run. I think that's as a legit team that's going to be scary in the playoffs just because of that quick strike ability of Herbert. But I'm saying they need to fix that offense, and the defense is like one of the worst in the NFL. So that's terrible, and it really shouldn't be. You got Joey Bosa, and we all know he's really good. So I don't know what...
It takes 11
It takes,
guys to
yeah, that's
tackle.
true.
Okay.
But I'm saying they need to fix that defense if they want to be a perennial Super Bowl contender because they got the quarterback to do it. They got the receivers to do it. They got the offense is there. Just have a better play calling, and the defense needs to be fixed ASAP because you take advantage. We know how to win with young quarterbacks. At the beginning of their career and the end of their careers when you get the most Super Bowls. So you got to strike while the iron's hot. Get Herbert a Super Bowl. He deserves it. So
And the Bolts' first one.
yeah.
Remember, Philip Rivers almost made it there one year with no ACL playing
Yeah.
against the Patriots. All right, you ready to move on?
Yep.
All right.
I only got one more headline, so I'll say that for the end of your headline.
Yesterday, it was announced that the AP poll vote was postponed for women's basketball because of the matchup today and the battle for Atlantis and the Bahamas. Number 1, South Carolina against number 2, Connecticut. And the Connecticut Huskies at one point had a 13-point lead today and ended up blowing that in the early second half, and South Carolina won by 16 in the game. So how should the Huskies feel after blowing that lead, and what do you see with their future?
I think they're going to be fine, honestly, but I think this is what they need to be. They need that loss. They need to fire up a team because they go into every year expecting to go undefeated and win the national title.
Well,
and
that's
while
the
that's
standard.
true,
The standard
that's the
is the
standard.
standard.
It's good to have that high of standard, but it's also good to be taken down a peg. So then it's like, oh crap, we really got to work for this because you can get lackadaisical and rest on your laurels. And I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's naturally going to happen. You're naturally going to become complacent. And granted, they lost the national title last year. That's a bit of a kick in the butt. But then this is a real.
Lost the Final Four.
Sorry, yes, you're right. Final Four.
Gino has never lost in the national championship game.
Really?
11-0. Yep.
Interesting. So as long as they make it, they're fine.
Uh-huh.
Because the year they lost to Mississippi State was in the Final Four.
I was there in person.
Wow. Are we going this year? Is it in Cleveland?
Nope. It's next year.
Next year.
Minneapolis this year.
Oh, we're
Unless
not
you want to
going.
make a road trip to the Mall of America.
You really want to do it?
No.
Okay, I was about to say.
Well, I'm not going to ride that train around that mall. That'd be fun. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a good kick in the butt, but I mean, come March Madness time, they're going to be a 1 seed and they'll still be contending for the national title. So, but it's a good thing to have. And I mean,
I think
come on, Beckers, you can get them that national title.
What's interesting is this, and it's not really about, like you said, it's not about today's win-loss that happened there. It's this could possibly be a matchup we see 3 times this year, because who knew I didn't know that they were supposed to play each other in this tournament until I researched it more this week. So they did that. And then they're already playing again in the regular season at the end of January, early February, already scheduled. And then they could meet in the tournament. They could play 3 times this year.
Crap.
Gino versus Staley.
That could be a national title matchup, potentially.
Another Staley coaching that South Carolina team.
Those Staleys are all over.
But it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously it was a big deal because the AP poll voters postponed their vote.
They didn't know what to do.
They did.
Their prized UConn.
Both of them, because South Carolina's been more of a blue blood now.
Yes,
but,
South Carolina's been doing really well recently, as of late.
Yes. All right. Well, at the end of last week, LeBron James finally came back from injured reserve for the LA Lakers, and they got a win over the Celtics. So, Ryan, what's the bigger story here? LeBron's return or the Lakers win?
Well, this has all been overshadowed by the recent thing that happened last night with the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, the fight.
The fight. Isaiah Stewart. Beef stew.
Fight.
I saw, I think it was called the Almost Melee at the...
Not Auburn Hills, Little Caesars Arena.
It's the Almost Melee at the LCA is what the Bun and Cardigan podcast, it's a Pistons podcast I listen to. It's like one of my favorites. It's all about, it's the Pistons beat writer for The Athletic. James, I think it's James Edwards III is what his name is. He's the beat writer for The Athletic for the Pistons. And then this guy that I watch on YouTube too, that's a big Pistons fan. So I really like it. It's called the Bun and Cardigan podcast. If you want to look it up, Quinn, sometime. It's very good. It's usually like short, about an hour or less. And they talk about Pistons basketball. Big Pistons fan. Part of the reasons the Pistons are like my third favorite team. They're kind of, I really like, obviously the Cavs are my favorite, and then I really like the Bucks because of Giannis, and the Pistons are kind of like my...
Bad boys.
Yeah, I like the Pistons. So here's my thing. In case you don't know, I would look up Isaiah Stewart. Number one thing will come up. Isaiah Stewart was actually drafted last year. I think he was pick 15, I want to say, in the NBA draft. The Pistons have really built... I've talked in full on the Sort of Sports podcast, new episode coming soon probably, about, the Pistons and how I relate with their building. And Isaiah Stewart's one of those main parts, 15th pick in the draft, and has been great for them. I mean, he was all-rookie second team, great big center from Washington University. He's been really great, and I don't think a lot of people expect him to be as good as he is. He's great. Like, he's a really great player, and Sadiq Bey is really the big guy they drafted last year, and I love him. I'd probably buy a Sadiq Bey jersey if I ever go to Pistons.
Put it on the Christmas list.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I like Sadiq Bey a lot. And then obviously Cade Cunningham's a big star. Cade Cunningham's awesome.
Agreed.
Which we all knew. And so basically what goes on is LeBron James, and you should always look it up. You can see this footage, and there's a really good angle that very clearly shows LeBron James took a cheap shot. Is he elbowed Isaiah Stewart in the face pretty much, drew blood. Isaiah Stewart goes to basically swing at LeBron and his teammates. Cade Cunningham, I was really impressed with him. He was really the main one trying to hold back Isaiah, and I'm like, that's good leadership from the rookie.
That's right, from the rookie.
Yep, and he had his first ever career triple-double, which is obviously overshadowed by the Almost Melee in the LCA.
Yep.
And they're holding back Isaiah Stewart, and LeBron and him are going back and forth words-wise. And so then everybody, starts to scatter out, and Isaiah Stewart just flat out blows through everybody and goes for LeBron again, and they have to hold him back, and he goes to the locker room. So then Corey Joseph walks over to the Lakers bench, and all the Lakers fans are mad at him, but the reason he was doing that is because he was like, well, if he tries to come out from their locker room and get LeBron from the bench, I'm going to be able to stop him and intercept him. And I'm like, that's a pretty smart thing, Corey Joseph. So... Now, Isaiah Stewart just went from this really underrated, blue-collar workhorse guy for the Pistons that the Pistons guys like and is really not talked about enough to a guy everybody knows because he's the dude that LeBron cheap shot. And I have been impressed with the internet, actually. They seem to all agree that it was on LeBron. Kind of LeBron had a comment a little bit. Obviously, you look at it, Isaiah was bleeding bad. And there's obviously he overreacted, he doesn't need to beat the tar out of LeBron for that. But I'm like, in the same sense, everybody's been in a situation they got hit and the adrenaline pumps and then it's ready to fight, and that's kind of how it was. I'm like, I don't blame the guy. That was a really cheap shot by LeBron, and I think LeBron should honestly formally apologize because he drew that upon himself. I'm not saying it's obviously not warranted for LeBron to get the tar kicked out of him, but I am saying you took a cheap shot at a guy, and he called you out for it. And I also think it was interesting. I saw a tweet. I wish I could remember the guy's name, but he basically said, he goes, we're all so used to these guys that are like, hold me back, and they don't get in fights. And there's Isaiah Stewart, who's just like, nope, going for it. I'm going to beat him up. And it's like, we never really had a guy that just flat out went for it. And obviously this drew a lot of comparisons to the very famous Malice at the Palace. And I'm very glad that nothing like that went on. The Pistons announcer was reportedly saying, if any of you fans rush out and do things, you will be arrested immediately. Like, they were really trying to not have another Malice at the Palace. I'm glad nothing like that broke out. And I think a lot of people are very aware of that incident. I mean, it's like one of the most famous sports. It is the most famous sports incidents of that. And so I'm glad that didn't go on. But it's weird. Malice at the Palace, I think it's like 16-year anniversary was just like a week ago.
17 now. It's going to be
17. It's because it's 04? Yeah, so what was that, Quinn? It was like almost like exactly a year ago to the date.
That should have been our anniversary. That should have been our anniversary today because it was 3 days ago, 17 years ago.
And the game was yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's quite weird. It was almost on the dot. Something in the air. Holy crap.
It is something in the air.
I just thought, I mean, LeBron kind of had to come in there. Obviously, I think they both should be suspended. I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron is suspended for less just because he's LeBron. But I think they're both in the wrong. Obviously, Isaiah, he did threaten a man. But in the same sense, LeBron, that's a cheap shot. You can't do that. So I'm glad everybody's kind of in agreement that, yes, while Isaiah Stewart shouldn't, completely kill LeBron, LeBron was in the wrong. So I'm glad. I mean, I'm kind of with Isaiah Stewart, and I honestly think all the Pistons fans are kind of like, yeah, this is classic Detroit basketball. Bad boy Pistons. All the Pistons fans like it. And I'm like, I respect Isaiah Stewart for it. Obviously, I'm glad no one was hurt. I wouldn't want that. But I'm saying I respect Isaiah Stewart for not letting that go, even though, because some guys, it's LeBron, and keep your mouth shut. I'm just a guy who's in my second year in the league. And Isaiah Stewart's like, no, you can't do that.
That's right.
And it's like, I was kind of impressed. So I'm glad no one was hurt, obviously. But LeBron, can't be doing that crap. Also, the Lakers ended up winning, and I think that's a lot because I honestly think that team plays better without LeBron. But
Well, you retired after this year.
Man, I don't know. He's trying to get that scoring title, even though he probably can't get it.
He's not getting it.
He shouldn't get it.
Anyway.
He probably won't get it.
I do think the bigger story is LeBron's return because this team has not played with LeBron, so they're going to gel together and make it to the playoffs as well. And the win doesn't really matter. I mean, they still have over 60 games to play in the NBA season, so it shouldn't be that worried about the win, but they got the win over their historic rivals, the Boston Celtics. So we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how LeBron plays with Russ now because they've never played together, and it'll be interesting just to see how things go.
Russ and AD work really well together when you watch. But that's what I'm saying. LeBron's almost doesn't fit there anymore because it's like Russ and AD do so well together.
They got too many pieces.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. That's
Somebody's got to be out being a waitress.
Yeah, or a hostess or something.
Or taking calls, taking the reservations.
That's what a hostess does.
Maybe they're doing the curbside pickup.
That's what a hostess does.
Wow. Okay, never mind. I was
dishwasher.
Yeah, you were on
dishwasher. Busboy.
Janitor.
Yeah, that's what the busboy does.
Oh, okay, great. So, see, you have a much better concept of what goes on than I do.
I figured you've been in enough restaurants, you know what was going on.
I'm impressed.
Oh, well, thank you. All right. This past weekend, Ohio State smashed my Sparty 56-7 at the shoe this week. And Oregon was stunned by a big defeat at Utah. So which has the bigger impact on the college football rankings that get released tomorrow night? Ohio State's win or Oregon's loss?
Definitely Oregon's loss. Because if this was a 12-team playoff, I think Utah might bump up into that 12-team playoff. And Utah would not be a team I want to play in the first round. They've got explosivity.
Explosivity. Look at you.
I'm saying they're
I've never heard of that word.
They got an explosive team. And they also got a new logo. They switched from the old U. I mean, did you see it? It's double U's now. It's UU. It kind of looks like the University of Houston logo. It kind of looks like the University of Houston logo. You should look it up. They got new jerseys too. I kind of like it. It looks
nice. Just after that win?
What?
Just after that win?
No. It's for this season. I just never watch a Utah game, obviously.
I don't either.
So Pac-12 football's gross. It is.
Not the Conference of Champions there.
So, yeah, definitely not. But for basketball, maybe. even though I don't really think so. It's Big Ten. But point is, Oregon knocking out really opens the door up for what I want to see so desperately. Number 2 Ohio State, number 3 Cincinnati. I want it so bad because here's all that has to happen. As long as Georgia can beat Alabama in the SEC title,
that should knock them out
effectively. Because if Alabama wins, then they're going to go Alabama 2, Georgia 1, and then Ohio State, Cincinnati 3, 4.
No,
you don't think they do that?
They're going to no, because they wouldn't do that. So this is what happened. I know this is the AP poll right now, but if Georgia,
what do you prefer?
The
ESPN or the AP?
AP or the college football playoffs?
Well, college football playoffs ranked done by ESPN. They own.
No.
I thought it was done by ESPN because they own it. No, then who does the college football playoff one?
A committee.
They have a special committee. Okay.
All right. But the AP right now has Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Cincinnati, Notre Dame.
Which I think is right. I think that's what it should be.
If Alabama beat Georgia, Ohio State would move up if they won their Big Ten championship to number 1.
Okay.
Alabama to 2, Cincinnati to 3, Georgia to 4. Or Georgia could be, because they wouldn't want to play Alabama and Georgia again twice, so Georgia would be number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what I'm saying, because I'm going to agree with you on Oregon's loss. But if this replicates, if the CFP rankings are the same as the AP
which they should be. I think those AP polls are good.
So here's what I'd say. This is what the craziness could happen. Think about this. Think about this sleeper that nobody's talking about right now.
Notre Dame?
Mm-hmm. Because you got Georgia. And if they beat Alabama in the SEC championship, they knock them out. Ohio State wins. They're number 2. Cincinnati moves to number 3. And guess who's coming in?
Notre Dame. And you know who looks great? You know who looks great because they beat Notre Dame?
Jack Cohn.
Cincinnati.
Brian Kelly. Yes.
Because I like Notre Dame. You know I like Notre Dame.
As long as they keep winning, they pump up your resume.
You know I really like Notre Dame, Brian Kelly. If I did have a favorite college football team, it would be Notre Dame.
Right.
I do like them. The thing is, it really helps Cincinnati's case if Notre Dame's the 4, because it's like, hey, we beat the 4 seed in the regular season.
Right.
We're undefeated, and you guys like to say we don't play anybody, but we did play somebody, and it's the 4 seed, and we beat them.
Yeah.
So if Alabama has 2 losses, there's no way they can work them in. They want to so bad, and they can't.
You gotta get the money. But I really want to see a Battle of Ohio.
Oh, I want to see it so bad. That's all I want.
I don't understand why, when Cincinnati is leaving the AAC right now, why they chose to go to the Big 12. The Big 10 should have been taking them in and dropping Rutgers. I mean, we don't need Rutgers anymore.
No. And even for basketball, Cincinnati's better than them too.
Right, it'd be a very good pick.
I think
if you could pick up, Notre Dame will never come back. Mm-hmm. They had an offer, they rejected it. Issues there about the Catholicism, whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's because of Gordon Gee too. But anyway, you really missed an opportunity on picking up those two because you really could have dominated the Midwest market.
Yep.
Instead of taking in dumb Nebraska.
Well, and that finally gives Ohio State a real rival. Because, we live in Ohio.
In-state
rival, yeah. Obviously, Michigan, Ohio State's a big rivalry.
That's a big rivalry, but it's nothing compared to Michigan State. That's the bigger.
You really think so?
It is. Nationally, it's Michigan, Ohio State, but in state-wise and regionally, it's Michigan State.
And I think it's really cool. A lot of Big Ten, especially, has interstate rivals, and I really like that. I think it's cool how Michigan has essentially 2 rivals, and they're kind of got a little bit of a thing with Minnesota. They fight over the Brown Jug. You know what I mean? They have a little trophy.
Everybody has 3 trophy series at the Big Ten.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Michigan State has Indiana, Michigan, and Penn State.
Yeah, what does Ohio State have?
Illinois for the Illabuck.
Oh, yeah.
They have, I'm pretty sure, Indiana as well, and Michigan.
See, I'm saying no one cares. Illinois football is never really good. They're a basketball school through and through. Same thing with the Hoosiers. And then Ohio State is a basketball school, kind of, and a football. It's definitely both.
It's football.
It's football.
It's football diminished basketball. It's the opposite of Michigan State, where it's a basketball diminished football.
Yes, you're right. That's a good read. And it's also the opposite of Michigan. Because Michigan is basketball school diminished football.
It's both.
Their basketball is so much better than football.
Okay, let's hold on.
In recent times.
Let's look at, I know it's about recent times, but historically
Michigan football is really good.
Has more career wins as a program than Ohio State.
Michigan has the most career wins, I think, in football than any team ever, I want to say. I think they have the most wins in college football, period. Yeah, I think so, because I think I got a friend that's a Michigan fan. I think that's what he claimed.
I don't know who that is. But
Mitch.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Does he listen to this?
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
Well, that's good to hear. We always need some fans. Michigan has, here's a list, folks. Michigan has 974 wins overall in their collegiate program.
Is it the most?
List. Most. Ohio State 2, 938. That's probably why it's also one of the most historic rivalries. Because
And Alabama's 3?
Alabama's 3 at 936, and Oklahoma is 4 at 9.
All 4 teams that are still big programs now. I bet the first one that's not a big program now that's really good is USC or Nebraska.
Well, let's think about this. Right
Is it
here.
USC? Is USC the first one that's like not very good now?
No,
is?
Texas is actually 5th.
Oh, that's a good point. I wish Texas was
Let's
good.
think about this. There's a little bit of an outlier here because Michigan has played 42 more games than Ohio State and 50 more than Alabama. And 53 more than
They don't like to tell you that.
But I don't know. And then you got some notes too here because you got to think about this. This is why there's another thing. Ohio State had 12 victories vacated because of the Tressel scandal. Alabama had 8 victories and a tie forfeited in 1993 and 21 victories vacated from 2005 to 2007. You got to think of all these wins getting vacated. Oh, Notre Dame, they're 6th. They had 21 victories. So there you go.
Yeah. You know, Quinn,
that's not
I've just been thinking.
What do you think?
It really needs to be a 12-team playoff. And here's my pitch. I know you don't like it.
It's too big.
Let me tell you my pitch. Fine, 10 teams. Listen to my pitch. Will you listen? Will you at least listen to my pitch? Please.
Okay, I'm like Bernie Sanders in the
8.
in the debate.
8 teams.
Over here.
8
over
teams.
here.
What?
Okay. Hold on. 8 teams, yes.
8 teams, that's
You know why?
fine. 8 teams, fine
Here's
with me.
the thing. Ready?
Okay.
Okay. Each conference winner gets in. You got to win your conference championship.
And then
That's good. That's 5.
one group of 5. No, one, just
Too
3.
many teams. 2 group of 5, and then
One
a
random.
wild card.
I would do 2 wild cards, 1 group of 5.
I know, but you could have Cincinnati and BYU in there sometimes in the same year.
Well, then they're both wild
or
cards.
Cincinnati.
Well, then
and
they're both
Notre Dame.
wild cards.
Then you got to think about
Because-
possible.
See what I
okay,
mean? That's my thing. The wild card can be anything.
True.
So just because there are going to be some years where the group of 5 suck, and and you should only take 1. So just leave it more open for yourself.
Okay.
Require 1 group of 5. I will say, the other day when I pitched it to my friends, I did say 8 teams. I don't know why I said 12, and I apologize.
Okay.
So 8 teams. You know.
And who's listening to this? AJ, Jason?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was pitching it to. And they were like, no, I like the way it is. I'm like, you guys like the way it is because you're Ohio State, ignorant fans.
Exactly.
And I get sick of it.
Amen.
We had an argument, and I was called names because I said Ohio State's not good enough to win the national title. I said Georgia's better, and Cincinnati might beat them too. And they threw fits.
I think Ohio State has really come down to, obviously defensively they played well on Saturday, but it's more of who cares about the defense. We're going to throw this ball for 600 yards, and we'll just see if you can.
And I'm saying if Georgia slows them down, which I think they could, best defense in the country.
Yep.
And Alabama is the second best defense in the country.
I don't know how, but yeah.
They do. I mean,
Because they play New Mexico State every other week.
yeah. So I'm saying Georgia, best defense in the country. If they slow C.J. Stroud down just for 28 points, that's a win.
It's a win.
That's a win because that defense for Ohio State's terrible.
I agree.
I mean, they're like, well, we shut down the best running back in college football. I said, yeah, but I'm not a huge fan of Michigan State QB. I know you think he's better than I say he is.
I think he's
don't
better
like him.
as he grows.
I don't like him. I have a pretty
I
objective.
think he's thrown for 22
I like to think
touchdowns.
I'm pretty objective college football since I don't have a team.
I hear you.
And I'm saying, objectively, Cincinnati, Georgia is the most ideal national
And
championship.
remember, they played last year, and it was a heartbreaker for Cincinnati at the end. Don't forget about that.
Also, you know what you could do if you want to keep your New Year's bowls? Make New Year's Day the game this first round of the playoff. For the 8, you know what I mean? Make that the 4 games.
Okay, in my Sparty QB, he's thrown for 2,618 yards, 60% completion. That's low. 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's pretty good.
He's not bad.
I tried to.
He's better than the Iowa guy.
That's
Iowa
what
guy
I'm saying.
sucks.
I know.
But I'm saying he's not explosive enough to. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, my point was just gonna be a CFP. So we finished all the Ryan Rogue headlights.
The Ryan Rogue headlines.
But
Well,
yeah.
You got a lot to say about this next headline, I think, in our
Yes, I
last
do.
one here.
I do.
All right. Currently, the Golden State Warriors have been on a hot streak, and Steph Curry has been on a hot streak too, from everywhere on the field, not the field, on the court. Excuse me. And
You talk about a lot of football. You're fine.
right, what the Warriors are 15-2 right now, number 1 seed in the West. What do you make of Steph Curry's performance and the Golden State Warriors wins?
This is not the same Warrior. Steph Curry is on his second run, and it's the older, wiser, smarter run. He's not the young gun going out there shooting as much as he can. He's smarter, he's stronger, and he's probably going to be the MVP this year.
What's that song that goes 50% stronger, 70% drive, and then
Yeah. That's exactly
what it is right there.
Yeah, I mean, he has been cooking this year, and the West is really in the lack of that big.
Is he cooking more than Russ?
Yeah, it's always who we say is Russ, but Russ hasn't been cooking at all.
Oh.
He got fired. Crap, he's not even working at Applebee's anymore. He's gone.
Hey, I had a good meal at Applebee's on Saturday, so
I like Applebee's.
I didn't check up on him.
I like Applebee's.
Anyway.
You should have been like compliments to Russ. Yeah, I mean, the West is really in lack of like a big super team. The NBA in general is in lack of a big super team with Kawhi Leonard out for the Clippers, LeBron James and the Lakers not performing,
Just coming back, yeah.
and the Nets, having the issue of Kyrie Irving.
Yeah,
They're the three big. I mean, you could say the Heat are, but the Heat aren't.
They're not a big three.
They're not a big three. They're four super talented players, and then PJ Tucker's a really solid role player. So Bam Adebayo is really the only one I'd say that's like borderline superstar, but that'll be in a couple of years. I think he's still developing. So. And Kyle Lowry slowed down. And Jimmy Butler is amazing, but he's not. He's on a level like a Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
So, and I'm a big Jimmy Butler backer. But I think this NBA season we're in for another Hood Classic based off we're seeing so much because whenever the NBA is competitive, that's when we get Hood Classic seasons.
Right.
That's why the last year was amazing. 2020 was kind of going that way. Then obviously it got derailed. But I'm saying last year's a Hood Classic. This year's looking like another Hood Classic. If we get a Warriors-Bucks finals, oh my gosh, it's so good. And I don't even like Steph Curry in the Warriors, but I respect him because he's on the run. His second run, I think, is going to be more impressive than his first because he's doing it borderline by himself with Klay being out, and I do like Klay.
Yeah.
And, Draymond's nowhere near as good as he used to be. The team is not even as good as it was back in 2015, 2016. I'm not even talking about KD because obviously it's not as good as when he had KD. And that's really proven KD shouldn't have left. But I know KD left because of respect reasons, not because of talent. And we know that. But I'm saying Steph is on. This isn't young babyface assassin Steph. This is like hitman killer John Wick Steph.
All right, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he went from like baby-faced assassin, pretty boy, to like I'm gonna kill you and your family, Steph. So I'm really excited. I think it's been really entertaining, and I'm ready. I think that if we got a Bucks Warriors finals, that is so good because honestly, as much as I don't like Steph Curry, it's mostly just because I'm a Cavs fan. Him and Giannis are two of the most likable guys, if not the two most likable guys in the NBA.
Agree.
Because Giannis is such a, we all know I love Giannis. Like, he's my favorite athlete, period. And then Curry is, like, really down-to-earth, nice guy, always says the right things in interviews, very good person. And so, that's just the ultimate superhero battle. It's Superman versus Superman. Like, everybody'd enjoy that. We get the most talented player in the NBA against the most freakish athlete in the NBA. Mm-hmm. It's the ultimate battle, and I think Steph Curry right now is the best player in basketball, no question. Mm-hmm. And he's actually having the Kevin Durant storyline I predicted KD to have this year about the talent and missing Kyrie. That story is actually what's been happening with Steph. I picked the wrong team. I did have the Warriors finishing third. They'll probably finish in that area, maybe one at this rate, but it's still early. We're not even a third through the season. Actually, we're about a third through the season. I think about it. The NBA doesn't really ramp up viewership-wise till second, third. Even I'd fall into that trap. I usually am in the NFL mode just because, and college football playoff mode because that's what's ending.
That's what's in. Yep.
So, and World Series when it starts up, when the NBA starts up. So, Warriors Bucks would draw in ratings, even though the fact that neither of them are super money markets. It's just the name recognition alone is huge. Mm-hmm. And the storyline of Giannis almost left for there is makes it even more interesting. So glad he didn't. But yeah, I just think it's really good for basketball. It's really good for viewership, and I'm here for it. And obviously the Bucks don't have the best record right now, but it's Giannis, so there's no reason to worry. But yeah, he's been incredible. And cornrow Curry, I guess, is built different. He doesn't have the cornrows right now, but remember when he had the cornrows last year and he was cooking? That was weird. He kind of pulled it off oddly. I was impressed. I didn't think he'd pull it off.
The hairstyle or the season?
The hairstyle.
Okay.
No, I figured he'd pull off the season.
What I make of this performance is just the beginning because there is no Klay Thompson. When Klay Thompson comes back, hopefully Christmas Day, that's what everybody's saying.
That'd be a great return.
I think it's going to be...
They play the Lakers Christmas Day?
I cannot confirm that or deny it.
I'll look it up. You keep talking.
I would say that they're going to be able to jet rocket when they get Klay Thompson back because that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Steph.
And he's
to
so
be
good.
able to get better looks because, the defenses are getting schemed just to him. Now you got somebody to offset that once you get Klay back in the groove. So I would say excuse me, I would say be prepared because
Suns.
Ooh, that's gonna be a real good game, real good one.
Actually, you know what game I'm most looking forward to on here?
Mavs Jazz,
No.
Celtics Bucks,
No.
Hawks Knicks.
There it is. Because I like this Knicks team.
Those are actually some decent games.
It's actually a really Christmas.
Right.
NBA Christmas Day is usually very good. This is a really good slate because you get Donovan Mitchell, Luka late night. That'll be fun when you're coming home from Christmas. Nets Lakers is obviously the big game at 8 p.m. That's gonna be great. Warriors Suns might be the sleeper hit. Bucks Celtics will be a bit of a beatdown. I think Giannis will rip them a new one, but it'll be relatively competitive at the start. And then Hawks Knicks. Hawks aren't as good, aren't really as doing well as they did last year at the moment. But the Knicks are so good this year, and you know it's going to be super fun. All those Knicks fans are going to come out and boo Trae Young, and he'll be doing his shtick, and it'll be awesome.
His shtick.
It'll be a great thing. It'll be the ultimate villain versus the big underdog Knicks. I think it's hilarious how the New York team is such a big underdog, but everybody likes it when the Knicks do well because they always suck.
Yep. Well, here's the problem for the NBA. On Christmas, they got to compete against the NFL. They have Packers Browns at 4:30 and Cardinals Colts at 8:15.
Those are good games too.
Now Fox gets the early game, but just NFL Network gets the second. So
you know what's weird about that though is that the Thanksgiving schedule sucks for the NFL.
Oh.
With the injuries that came in, it doesn't originally, but I mean, it's going to be Andy Dalton versus Tim Boyle.
Okay. Here's my thing about
the NFL couldn't plan for that.
Here's my thing about the Thanksgiving games. They're all going to be competitive. Bears and Lions will be competitive.
Sadly.
Cowboys Raiders will be competitive.
Sadly.
And Saints Bills will be competitive.
Sadly.
They'll all be competitive.
It's sadly competitive. A lot of disappointments.
Nothing like chowing down on some turkey and seeing some competitive football.
I would be really excited for that Bears game if it was Fields because I think Fields would play well, and I love Justin Fields. I really like him.
Injured ribs.
But he's bruised his ribs. I mean, he bruised his ribs. He's going to be eating turkey, not ribs. So.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on to Toss Up this week, and it's another version of Toss Up. Who you got? College football rivalry week. This time, it's a little bit of a slower version of the mid finish. Each Toss Up, we get 1 minute to choose
for each one.
For each one.
All right.
Well, it can't be 1 minute for all 12. We wouldn't have enough time.
True.
So 1 minute per each. I got this timer on my watch. I got my bell on my phone. And, well, I thought I had this timer on my watch, but decided to go back to 37 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't know why. Must have been when I was doing probably substitute teaching. All right.
Here we go.
First one, Mississippi State against Mississippi.
All right. Sorry. My brain was confused because you said Mississippi, not Ole Miss. I got to take Ole Miss here. I really like this Lane Kiffin team. I think within the next couple years, I honestly think Lane Kiffin's going to build a playoff team.
Well, if he doesn't leave.
Yeah, true. He's good. That's why he's probably going to leave. Is because he's too sexy for his shirt. He's too good for his college. But I like this Ole Miss team. They got probably the best quarterback that's draft eligible.
Yeah.
So
decent.
I think they'll win because Lane Kiffin's a good coach, good team. They beat teams.
Well, this is what this game should be billed as the Halloween candy versus get your popcorn ready, guys. Because that's what it is. If you remember from the past. So anything can happen in a rivalry week. I mean, I think I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna go Mississippi State.
You know why? It's because you don't have. It's not big finish, so there's no record here. You don't. It doesn't matter if you mess up.
I don't have to. Some sound guy couldn't press his button right. But,
we got an extra 10 seconds.
So it'll be. For some reason, I think Mike Leach is going to pull all the stops there, and they're at home, so that's what's the big thing.
I would like to see it, but I think Ole Miss. I'm actually cool with whoever wins that. So I don't know. It's cool. Right. We'll see.
Next one: Florida versus Florida State.
All right, I'm gonna go Florida State here, obviously, because Florida just lost their freaking coach. So you can make the case that they're gonna rise up and fight through the adversity. Hey. But no, I think Florida State's winning.
Hey. I've seen this with the Raiders. The Raiders.
That's true.
They did. They rose up out of the ashes like a phoenix on Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And I don't care how bad you say that movie is. But anyway, I'm going with Florida State as well because, I mean, Florida's in shambles. They should win. They should. I mean,
yeah.
And Florida, what happened to them? Didn't they?
Last year they were awesome.
Didn't they win the SEC?
Not last year.
East?
Though they might have won the SEC
I thought they
East
won
last
the
year.
SEC East.
Kyle Trask was actually really good.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's a really good.
I think he did.
I think
Pretty sure
he'll
they
actually be
almost
really
beat
good for the
Alabama.
Bucks when he takes over. Like, dead serious, Quinn. I mean, I really like Kyle Trask.
I really think he
Kyle
could.
Pitts was awesome for them, too. That was a great offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be
I really
interesting.
wanted them to make college football playoff. That was another reason I wanted an 8-team, because that would have been a fun playoff team.
Well,
Eric Bieniemy, Florida, he would never.
would-
We always dish out Eric Bieniemy.
Only one you go to, I think, is USC if he would ever take it.
But I mean, remember that? You know what I thought of? I was reading the other day about the Reggie Bush USC team.
Yeah, and
That's
there's
like an
Steve
all-star.
O'Brien.
That's an all-star cast. Pete Carroll, coach, and Lane Kiffin, OC.
I know, and then they were busted for doing the test for the students.
Yeah, it's like a sitcom. It had all their favorite stars, and then it was busted.
All right, last year, so Florida was 8-4 overall, 8-2 in the division. So they obviously beat Georgia.
Yeah,
Let me look. At
they
the
had a
schedule.
great
Let me
team
look at the
last
schedule
year.
real quick.
Great team.
All right, well, I'm looking at the schedule. Nebraska versus Iowa. It's the Black Friday biggest game. Always at 1:30 on Black Friday. Nebraska, Iowa.
Got to take Iowa. I mean, they did disappoint me a little bit. They lost against the big teams, the Big Ten, but they're still a really good team. That defense is still so good. Tight ends are still great. They just don't have the quarterback play to back it up. So they're the better team here. Nebraska hasn't really been cooking that much. So, yeah.
I think Nebraska's going to win this.
No!
You know why? They're at home. Adrian Martinez is there.
College football is
And-
very home dependent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think Scott Frost maybe will capitalize with a big win at the end of his year. So I don't know why I want to take the Cornhuskers, but I do. My dad says this is his tradition. Always put the Christmas tree up on Black Friday, and you turn on this game. This is
Yeah.
this is what happens. I
Sounds
mean,
good. I'll have it on, too.
It's the best. See, it's the closest thing because Nebraska's other rival is Oklahoma, and I wish they played every year in the non-conference just to keep that rivalry going. But
Yeah.
this was the first season they played in a while.
Well, now,
So,
once they go to the
since-
SEC, they definitely won't play them.
They definitely won't play them. So.
Unless they do my theory, which
Right.
is split into two big conferences.
Right. I don't know. I don't like the alliance. I don't like it.
I know.
It smells.
I
Smells
know.
bad,
I
as
know.
Elaine says.
It's quite stinky.
So.
Oh, we're doing this one fourth?
Yes. I had to mix them in. The tough ones.
Oh, boy.
All right. Iron Bowl. What are you going with? Auburn versus Alabama.
Iron Bowl to me every year is like the sleeper hit where everybody's always, especially in Ohio, we get marketed the Michigan State-Ohio State game so much. Not Michigan State. Michigan-Ohio State game so much. But like the Iron Bowl is kind of like the Silent Hood Classic. It sneaks underneath the radar.
It does.
And it's always so good. I mean, the Cam Newton years are great. I mean, 2 years ago when they got upset, it was great. It's always a good game. And their Auburn quarterback, I forgot his name, all of a sudden is slipping me.
Bo Nix.
He's pretty good, actually.
I know.
I like him. He could be a third, fourth round pick and be pretty solid for a team.
Could be.
But maybe he goes to USFL. I'm just kidding. He's too good for that. But I gotta go Bama. But this is gonna be more of a game than expected. And Auburn getting upset. It's the Iron Bowl. Anything can happen in the Iron Bowl. I'd love to see Auburn win, but Bama.
I'm going to take Auburn because...
Do it. Yes, do it.
You know why?
Do it. Why not?
Just because they're at home.
Yep.
They play better at home in this rivalry.
They won.
And
Last time they
let's
played at
remember,
home, they won.
Alabama, I don't care what they say in the statistics of the number 2 defense because it's not true. I mean, think about it. I mean, they shouldn't be there. I mean, because you're playing New Mexico State and holding them to 3 points.
New Mexico State's an
That's
independent
good.
team.
I don't.
They suck.
Yeah, and obviously it skews your average in scoring defense. So I'm going to take Bama.
And that would completely knock Alabama out of...
I'm taking Auburn because I think...
I would love to see it.
That,
I would love to see it.
And I don't know what the coach's name. I don't know what he is because he's new and he came from Boise State. But I think he's going to get a big win.
Auburn in recent years has kind of been the school of upsets. Because remember in March Madness, a couple years, I think it was 2 years ago, they had that
Bruce
big
Pearl.
run too.
Bruce Pearl.
With 2019. 2019, they had a big run.
Yeah.
So like, go Auburn, both basketball and football. They've been cooking up in the kitchen. They took
have been
Russ's
cooking in the
job.
kitchen.
So I like Auburn. I like them.
Next, Civil War. Oregon versus Oregon State.
I think Oregon's going to have a bounce back game and beat Oregon State. What's Oregon State's mascot?
I'm pretty sure they're the Beavers.
You're right, yes. Because I remember the Pac-12. Remember last year they played in the spring? I caught a OSU game, Oregon State. Crap. But, yeah. So, we're going to take Oregon. They're going to have a bounce back game.
Yep, I'm going to go with you. I'm going with Oregon. I think Mario Cristobal will have his team ready to go. They have to have a bounce back because they get a big win over Utah. I'm not saying it puts them back in the...
They graduated my guy Herbert.
In the contention, but I mean, it'll get them closer to a bigger bowl game. If not, Utah will go to the Rose Bowl, you know, if they win the Pac-12 championship. So that's what's on the line for Cristobal. He's the best coach since Chip Kelly there. It's true. So
I do think Herbert kind of sucked in college. It's really mind-blowing that he's as
he
good
was
as he
decent
is.
last year, 2 years ago.
Not as good as he is in the NFL.
So, all right, the battle for the Land Grant Trophy, and I
Yeah.
will be there in East Lansing, Michigan State versus Penn State.
I got to take Michigan State here, even though I think it'll be more of a game than expected, because Penn State's got a great wide receiver core, one of the best in college football. I mean, Dotson, especially Jahan Dotson, he's great. That was Jahan Dotson, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not tripping. Yeah, he's great. And then Kenneth Walker III, this is his last chance to make his Heisman candidacy. I mean, it's Bryce Young has been the most consistent. Heisman race right now mirrors the NFL MVP race, where there's not a real clear-cut winner. Right now, it's Stroud, Young, and Kenneth Walker. That's like the main three. Mm-hmm. And this is the last dying run for Kenneth Walker. If he can have a 4-touchdown, crazy game here, he might be able to get back in Heisman, be the favorite. But right now, Bryce Young's been the most consistent, and then C.J. Stroud's been having big games and has gotten better as the year went on. So I'm going to take Michigan State here, the better team.
And also, to talk about this game, because I will be there in person, Row 52, Lower Bowl, check me out. And I will, I'm going to go with Sparty here, my own team. And the reason is because there are injuries on both sides right now. Kenneth Walker went out early, saving for the health. That's what they said on Saturday. Jaden Reed, Jalen Naylor right now are both out, top receivers for Michigan State. Top tackle right now is out for Michigan State. But what's even worse on the Penn State side, that Sean Clifford might be out. So that's what's interesting, because he went out early last game. So we'll see what happens. It's crazy.
It is. I mean, I would love to see Kenneth Walker III be Heisman. I think it's weird for Stroud to win it as a freshman. I think it's also weird for Bryce Young to win it in his first year as I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird to think about to have all these new guys. But right now we're in that new era of college football, and these guys are gonna be around for 2 to 3 years. We're in the new season of the show, and for the next couple seasons we're gonna have those characters, and they're all gonna move on. It's like Happy Days, except Chachi's not as cool as Ron Howard's.
Okay, Fonz.
Well, Fonz is always there. He's like Saban. He's always around.
I know. He's there for 10 seasons. So.
But I like Kenneth Walker III, dude. But we'll see. Heisman's interesting this year.
All right. Next one: Stanford versus Notre Dame.
Watch Notre Dame freaking lose this and F up the playoff. Watch it. But I'd love to see Notre Dame win. I want them to win. They're the better team anyway, so that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Fighting Irish as well, and I think it's because they got to keep the heat on the committee. They can get in the playoff if the cards.
They need a big win.
If the chips fall where they may.
They cannot have this be close.
Yes, so they've gotten some big wins. They beat Virginia bigly. Donald Trumply, bigly, bigly. So I will. I think they'll get the win.
And afterwards, they should all go to the locker room and cheer for Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, they should, or cheer for Michigan.
Yeah,
both of them. Both of them can benefit.
That was our nightmare scenario, though. Michigan beating Ohio State.
That's right, and it hurts my bowl chances
losing.
at Michigan State, because if Michigan State wins, that makes Ohio State is the second biggest. Best Big Ten team. I mean, even over the West winner, because who cares about the West?
Yeah.
Not that good. So, all right. Georgia versus Georgia Tech.
Georgia's best team in college football. Georgia.
Battle.
That's it. I don't have to say anything else.
Oh, you have anything to say else about that?
I mean, Georgia's best team in college football. It feels like this entire year. It felt like it's been their year ever since they beat Clemson and pointed out the fact that Clemson sucked this year. Thank the Lord. Don't like Clemson. And I like my Pittsburgh Maulers, though. I had to work in the joke. But Georgia, best team in college football, best defense. I like my Pittsburgh Maulers, though. Remember they
you don't
colors.
Like Pitt?
What do you mean?
I thought you were talking about Pitt because it's ACC.
Pittsburgh Maulers. I'm talking about my the USFL team.
I know, but then what were you talking about? How'd you bring those?
Because the same color scheme as Clemson.
Oh, yes.
Remember you made the joke earlier? Yeah.
Yes.
So Georgia's best team in college football. It's felt like their year this whole year. I'd love to see them be in the national championship, maybe even win it, but go Cincinnati Bearcats if that's the case. And so they're better. That's it.
Yeah, it's Georgia. It's definitely Georgia. I mean, Georgia Tech, they might as well just stay on the bus instead of just showing up out there.
They're just going to get guys hurt. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, and then they're not going to a bowl. They're awful this year, so I'm just going to say I don't think it's going to happen.
It's a formality to play them.
Right. So, next, the Bluegrass battle, Louisville versus Kentucky.
Gotta take Kentucky here because remember they had those big wins early in the season. We were like, is Kentucky a college football playoff contender? And then they weren't. But it was fun for a bit, and I think, who did they play that it was interesting? Was it
Georgia, because they were both undefeated.
Yes, and so they're going to win here. They've had a good year, and maybe in the future they can be a college football playoff contender. But are they Big 12?
No, SEC.
They're SEC.
This is an ACC-SEC battle.
Interesting. Yeah, but Kentucky will win. They're the better team. They've been a good team. They're just not amazing yet. But if they get a good recruiting class in, that's what you got to hope for.
I think they are doing that with Stoops under the helm. And don't forget, the transfer portal gave him Will Levis from Penn State, which boosted their quarterback area. So having him and Rodriguez, that's what's going to bring it home for the Kentucky Wildcats. And Stoops are going to have another good season. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see a Michigan State-Kentucky bowl game. That would be interesting.
Ooh.
Pit my family against each other.
Ooh, that
Grandpa
would be.
Jimmy versus Dad and I. So that
would be fun.
That would be an interesting.
Blue versus green?
Yes. So I think... yeah, I mean it'll be. But Kentucky should win because Louisville's not that good this year.
No, they're not. This will be a great basketball game.
Oh, they don't worry, they always play.
They always play.
Always play. Rivalry. All right, Michigan versus Ohio State might be the biggest game with implications in this.
For once, I'm really glad Michigan's good because rivalries are so much better when it's competitive. I don't care. It's like obviously it's fun to beat your rival, but it's no fun when it's Georgia Tech and they're bad and you're Georgia.
Right.
Like, you want to have some competitiveness. So, I'm glad Michigan's good, but, I mean, the odds show that they're not going to win. I think this is going to be more of a game than people expect. Mitch is actually going out of the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know, yeah. It's really exciting. I would
And Paige?
No, Paige is staying for here. But he didn't have enough tickets.
Oh, I forgot about Thanksgiving.
Yeah. But,
well, maybe I'll pass him on the highway.
yeah, maybe.
East Lansing.
But, Michigan.
I won't because they play at noon. My team plays at 3:30.
Yeah. But Michigan, Ohio State would be a big noon game, obviously.
It is.
Literally the big noon game.
I don't know if College Game Day is going there or not. It might be going. It might be both again.
Auburn's night, isn't it? The Auburn, Alabama. Iron Bowl's
Yeah,
the
but
evening
it's on
game.
CBS. Remember, it's not going to.
Yeah.
but
Can we have 2 minutes for this one
they would
because this is
have
the
a
big one?
taping. You better keep talking.
All right, I just
The
want to wrap
bell's
this up.
just there.
This is going to be more of a game than usual.
Okay.
I really believe this is Harbaugh's best team he's put together.
Really?
I mean,
Not even that team that really won but didn't win because of the JT Barrett fourth down that never crossed the line.
sorry, I apologize. Best team he's had in the last couple years. That was a good team. You're right.
Not last year. Awful.
No, last year terrible. Weren't they like 5-5?
Okay, no. They were 2-5.
Yeah, even worse than I
Spanish
expected.
shortened.
Sorry, yeah, season shorted. Sorry about that. But yeah, they were like I remember they had hardly anyone. They're bad. But I think this will be more of a game people expect. But Ohio State's just been outscoring everybody, and I think they can outscore Michigan. And I think it'd be kind of funny if they beat Ohio State. But I think Ohio State's a really good team. It's just I don't think they're better than Georgia. I think Cincinnati's probably on their level. I really like Cincinnati's good going on. But I'm getting off topic. Point is, Ohio State's going to beat them, and it'll be a little more competitive than people expect. But Ohio State will beat them.
Ohio State's going to win this game. I think Michigan's cornerbacks will cover better than Michigan State's, which are the worst in the country. So that might slow Ohio State down a little bit. But
C.J. Stroud interception.
Right now they're injured. They got
C.J. Stroud interception.
No, I don't know about. Excuse me, I don't know about that, but I know. But Corum right now is injured. You know, they had that dynamic duo in the backfield, so that might be interesting. We'll see if Cade McNamara can have a big game. I would not get if I was Harbaugh and learn the lesson from Michigan State game and not be playing McCarthy out there too much because he might blow it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it is there. All right. 2 more. First, Oklahoma State against Oklahoma.
I kind of want to take Oklahoma State here because Oklahoma's been having a lot of problems. Spencer Rattler's not as good as advertised. Caleb Williams is just all right. No, they don't really have the next quarterback superstar. Maybe they're probably getting some 5-star freshman next year or something crazy. But they haven't found their next Hurts or Kyler or whatever. So I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State. I think they might be able to get an upset here. It's rivalry. Anything can happen.
Well, it wouldn't be an upset for Oklahoma State because Oklahoma's ranked underneath them. So
What?
That would be.
I didn't realize. I did not realize.
It's the 9 versus 13 game. It's going to be very evenly matched. It's the night game on ABC, so I bet Herbie and Fowler will be doing this one.
Ooh.
And
You think Gus will be the Michigan-Ohio State game then?
Yes, because that's why it's Fox.
Yeah, you're right.
It's automatic
Gus is
Fox,
Fox,
because that's
Maybe he'll
the
cut.
Big Ten signed a big contract with Fox and Fox Sports 1.
Oh.
Took, 3
Well, that
years
means
ago.
Gus might be calling my USFL games. I'd love that. I love Gus Johnson.
Possible. So, I'm going to take Oklahoma State here, too. I think the Oklahoma quarterback carousel is just not going to benefit in their favor. And
NFL teams run 2 running backs. They use 2 quarterbacks.
Right, that's how it is. So, I don't know. I don't understand it. But I do understand it. But I'm just saying I just don't understand why Oklahoma's that bad. They shouldn't be that bad. So, all right, last one. San Diego State versus Boise State.
I miss the days
in the Mountain West.
I miss the days of the Boise State being a BCS national title contender.
Well, I mean, they were under their past coach. Now he's at Auburn.
Well, that's part of the reason Auburn's very, pretty good now.
No, they're 6-5, so don't be.
Well, I'm saying pretty good as in they were doing better than. I mean, there was a period there after Cam left where they were not doing the best, weren't they? They were.
That's right. Brian Harsin is his name.
So I'm saying, I mean, they did the big upset with Bama a couple years back, 2019. But I think San Diego State's going to beat Boise, and Boise needs to get back on track. They used to be a powerhouse. What happened?
They still are a powerhouse. They're 7-4. I don't know why you'd have to say
7-4. Okay, but they're not competing for the national title like they used to. They used to be a perennial.
They weren't competing for a national title anyway.
They were ranked top 5 in the AP polls in like 2009, 2008 period.
Maybe. I'm going to take San Diego State here. They're the higher ranked team, and
They're
just
better.
For some reason, I think that it's not gonna.
Aztecs.
It's just not. It's just yeah. It's just I don't. I just have no faith in Boise State right now. I mean, they're not at home on their own blue and orange field, so that takes away your superpowers. But
yeah, too.
I mean, but I'll take the Aztecs in this one. So, all right. Ryan's special section. He already preluded to this. So
in honor of Thanksgiving.
In honor of Thanksgiving.
So here it is.
What are they?
So every division leader.
Every division leader.
What they should be thankful for. So we're going to start with the worst division in football, the AFC South.
How has the NFC East?
What should the Titans be thankful for? Quinn, you lead.
What should they be thankful for?
Yeah.
I'm in this. This is your special section.
I mean, do you want? I'm including you in this one. Sometimes I quiz you. Sometimes I have my own little
you're
bits.
including
The
me.
special section we all know is a wild card. Whatever it is, sometimes it's me randomly talking about numbers. Usually it's me drawing attention to somebody who's underrated. Every once in a while we play games. Right now it's a game. So.
Okay. I'm going to say they have to better be thankful for Mike Vrabel because he's going to be their fearless leader to lead them through with no Derrick Henry.
I think it's quite actually a bit of a humorous one. They should be thankful that their division's not very good and that the Colts crapped their pants the first half of the year. Because if it wasn't for that, the Colts would be beating the tar out of them.
Still 6 games left.
And I'd love to see the Colts beat them because they're probably better. They should be very proud right now that the Texans are a dumpster fire and the Jaguars got to get crap together. So for the time being, Titans, be very thankful. But in the next couple of years, when the Jaguars hopefully get things fixed and the Texans draft Matt Corral, I mean,
go Urban.
Things could turn around. Matt Corral, the Ole Miss quarterback, he could. I think he'll go to the Texans.
Well,
just fits.
It's possible. Still got to deal with Deshaun Watson.
All right. AFC East. What should the Patriots be thankful for?
They should be thankful for Bill Belichick drafting Mac Jones.
Good answer.
Because if they're not, they're crazy. But Mac Jones has been the best rookie quarterback. We can make that statement now that we're almost 2/3 away of the year. Don't forget, next week after week 13, because we'll be 12 games in for most people, with including the bye, we'll be playing contender, or pretender.
I'm so excited.
So be prepared for that.
My favorite.
But that's what I think they should be thankful for. What about you?
There's probably a lot of teams eligible for contender or pretender because everything's so wild. I mean, the Eagles might be on that list.
So every team except the Jaguars and Texans.
It's pretty much every team except Jaguars, Texans, Dolphins, Jets. I mean, even the Niners we could throw on the freaking list. It's wild.
It's possible.
I wouldn't throw the Seahawks on there.
No Seahawks.
Russell's
no Giants
fired.
Either.
He's homeless.
No Giants.
No cooking job.
What are you,
but
what are you saying?
Every team in the AFC North is eligible. Broncos are not eligible. I'm telling you right now.
Okay. Patriots thankful.
Patriots thankful. Kyle Shanahan. Any questions? You know why?
I do know why. It's called he took Jerry Garoppolo.
Yeah, he took Trey Lance.
And he took Trey Lance.
He did it. He drafted Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Instead of taking Mac. And let's think about this. Alternate universe. He drafts Mac Jones. Right?
Is
Trey
he
Lance
that good in that system?
They'd be effing it up like they're effing up Trey Lance right now. I think Mac Jones would be very fine in that system because you know who Mac Jones plays like? Brady. You know who played like Brady? Garoppolo. They're all very similar pocket passers.
They are.
So they would have been fine. Here's the thing. Honestly, I think if the Patriots don't get their quarterback, they have to go trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Belichick makes a move and go gets Grop. They should be very thankful because I don't think Fields would have fell to them, and I don't think Lance would have fell to them. I think the Lions would have picked up Lance. So, potentially. I don't think the Patriots either get Lance or Fields, and I think Fields would have done actually quite well with Belichick, but he has to rework the whole offense.
I agree.
But I think the Bears really wanted Fields, which is why they traded for him.
Obviously.
So they should be quite thankful that Kyle Shanahan drafted Trey Lance, which I do think was the right move for him, even though he's screwing it up right now. But they should be thankful because now they get Mac Jones, and he's their franchise quarterback that'll probably win at least 2 Super Bowls with them in his career. So, And Bill Belichick's going to have a second run. Call him Steph Curry.
We'll see.
Next up, AFC North. We're going to say the division leader is the Ravens because I think it is.
They are the Ravens.
They are but I'm saying because that could change in like a week. But we're going with the Ravens. What should they be thankful for, Quinny?
They need to be thankful right now for Justice Huntley leading into that win yesterday. Because if they did not, they'd be now 6-4, and that division would be even wilder with a 6-4 Ravens, a 5-4-1 Steelers, 6-4 Bengals, and a 6-5 Browns.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting.
I think they should be thankful for the fact that Lamar Jackson is the best running back on the team, regardless of injuries, because they've had a bunch of issues with their running back core, and no matter who's their backup running back, whether it's Devontae Freeman, 50 years too old, or who it is, the fact that Dobbins is out has really hurt them because Dobbins was good last year. So, I mean, I think watch Dobbins come back next year and have some great NFL Comeback Player of the Year story because he's going to be good. But, they should be very thankful that Lamar Jackson is the best running back in the NFL, and he's not even the running back. I'm just kidding. He's not the best running back. But I'm saying, best running back in the team's your QB.
Yep.
So. And that's not actually an insult to Lamar anymore because he's been doing quite well passing.
Yes.
AFC West, Chiefs.
They should be thankful for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers for crumbling at the right moments for them to take the division lead back.
That's a good pick, and that's not the wrong answer.
No.
That's a good answer. I think you should be thankful for the fact that they have Patrick Mahomes locked up for a 10-year deal. Because
10-year? I thought it was only 5.
No, it's like a 10-year deal. It's like a 5-year with a 10-year player. It's something crazy.
It's not a 10-year. They can't do that.
They can't do that, quote unquote, but he basically said he was going to be there forever.
Okay, that's what they all say, and guess what? They leave.
Well, I mean, anybody can leave. You know, a 5-year deal and leave the second year anymore. You just throw a big enough fuss. You know how it works now, Quinn. Contracts don't really mean anything. Point is, they should be very happy they have Mahomes locked up for the rest of his life because he's the reason they're still a playoff team, and the fact that their defense has finally come along. So be thankful for Chris Jones and the fact that their defense is showing up, and be very shameful towards your offense that's not named Mahomes because the offense has not been impressive. So,
okay, here's the contract details real quick. So it was 12 years.
12 years!
For, if he gets all his incentives, $502 million.
That's what I thought. I knew it was a long deal.
So, base value, next season before the extension kicks in, is $477 million, an average of $39.8 million per year. But starting in 2022, it'll be $45 million per year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically structured. There's no base salary. The base salaries are very low until the end of the contract, and the signing bonuses are very high. The roster bonus and the signing bonus are very high. So the cap hit will be interesting. But okay, his cap hit in 2027 is going to be $59.95 million. So think about that one. You better hope the cap keeps growing.
Probably will.
So
you know why? Because they need the Chiefs to be competitive because he brings in ratings. Yeah, I'm saying it's simple.
No, I'm not.
I'm not poo-pooing that idea. It's true. Like it should be that way.
It's all about the money. It's about how much the money league gets, and then they divide it up.
They're really probably upset the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs are a huge deal because they probably don't make a ton of money off Kansas City.
They probably do now.
Good point. All right. Also, Kansas City Royals new uniforms. I'll have to talk about it on the pod. They're beautiful.
Okay.
Mahomes probably helped him out because he's a genius and he's cool.
Mm-hmm. Salvador Perez.
You gotta love my homeboy. But all right, NFC South. We started South in the last one, so we'll do that one again.
And
division leaders Bucks.
And division leaders are Bucks. So I think they should be thankful for Jameis Winston being injured because I think the Saints had a chance to make a run at them after going 5-2, 5-3, and they could have capitalized, but instead that didn't happen.
I seem to be doing a lot of long-term thankfuls here. You're doing more short terms. I think it's balancing each other quite nice. I think I should be thankful for the fact that Tom Brady will basically pull a name out of a hat and pick Tampa Bay. Because, yes, they had like one of the best wide receiving core, and little did we know they had one of the best defenses last year, not this year. Defenses are incredibly inconsistent. We know this. Last year, Brady apparently knew that, but I'm saying it was very clearly them or the Chargers or the Raiders, and he picked them. And I think Tampa Bay should feel lucky because we all know there weren't a lot of Tampa Bay fans until Brady showed up. So bandwagon. I mean, Florida football's Dolphins. That's it.
It is Dan Marino.
And then everybody likes Dolphins.
Win a Super Bowl.
There was a couple Tampa Bay fans because of the John Gruden Super Bowl, and then there's like no Jacksonville fans to this day. The only Jacksonville fans are former Ohio State fans that retired out to Jacksonville and decided to start watching NFL because Urban Meyer showed up. So, but they still are kind of upset because they hate Trevor Lawrence. I don't blame him. But James Robinson's great, though. You gotta love James Robinson. Illinois State. Point is, thankful Tom Brady picked you. You were blessed with the power of Tom Brady, the greatest football player of all time. Yes, I said it, Quinn. All right, NFC East. No longer the least. Kind of fun, actually. Also, Chargers as the AFC team of the pod. Good choice by us.
Thank you.
That's aged like wine.
Yep. Are you going to say
Yeah, no, I said NFC East, yeah.
If we didn't say the team.
Cowboys, sorry. Dallas
We all know the team, but I want you to say the team.
Yeah, sorry. I'd like for it to be the Eagles soon, but...
Excuse me. Excuse me. Stop. Cowboys should be thankful for Dan Quinn right now.
That's a really good pick.
He has really upgraded their defense, and even though they lost to Kansas City, they held them to 19 points, and that's pretty good. To hold the Chiefs to 19 points, even in this disruptive year.
That's a really good point. I wouldn't think anybody would be thankful for Dan Quinn ever since 2016. But, honestly, I'm going to go here with a really simple one. It's the fact that they should be thankful for the fact they showed up in the first half of the season because we all know the wheels are going to fall off in the second half. So you got to have enough wins to start so when you start losing at the end, it doesn't hurt as bad.
Yeah.
They locked up their playoff odds now, so when they lose to the Eagles, it's not a big of a deal.
That's true.
Jalen Hurts coming for you.
The betters.
Devontae Smith's been great. We all said people were saying he was too skinny for the NFL. Wrong. He's great.
Didn't they say that about Kevin Durant, but in the NBA?
That argument never works.
I know. It doesn't.
Like the Chet Holmgren. They're saying about Chet now because he's a slim reaper.
It's all about skill.
Yeah, it's all about skill.
So, all right.
NFC North. Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm. They should be...
I don't know what they should be thinking. That's a little tough.
Well... I don't even know I have a thing. You got one?
Yeah, I got a good one, actually.
Go.
They should be thankful they made a really bad decision 2 years ago drafting A.J. Dillon. Great player, horrible decision. Why would you take a running back in the second round and you got Aaron Jones? Paid off dividends for once because Aaron Jones is out, so it ended up working out for him. Other than that, there ain't no way we're going to say they're thankful for Jordan frickin' Love, so I don't know what you want to say.
I don't know what they should be thankful for. I mean, it's been a mess. The COVID mess around Rodgers has been... I just don't know. I don't know if they have really anything to be thankful for. Somehow they're division leaders when they haven't really even...
I know what it is. Here's the thing they'd be thankful for from you. The fact they beat the Cardinals. There it is. What's his face? They caught the interception.
Yes. But, I mean...
There it is. There it is.
I guess. Well, it'll be a cop-out, thank you. But, all right, next.
All right, the last thankful. The most thankful. The NFC West, it should be the Rams, but we'll do Cardinals because that is what it actually is.
That's exactly what it is. I think they should be long-term thankful for Cliff Kingsbury drafting Kyler Murray because without those two together, I don't even know if he did draft him. Without those two together coming in, they would not be 9-2. And additionally, I might be stealing this from you. Thankful for Colt McCoy going 2-1 the last 3 years.
No, I got a really funny one for you. I should be thankful to the Houston freaking Texans because without them, the Cardinals are still at the bottom of the barrel. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
And Hopkins has been out.
T.J. Watt slowed down, but he's still amazing.
J.J. Watt.
Sorry, I meant to say J.J. So used to talk about the Steelers. J.J. Watt's slowed down, but he's still really good. I wouldn't say he's one of the best in the NFL. I didn't mean to say that, but he's still really good, and he's been good for them. So I would be thankful that what was the guy, Bill O'Brien, and the Texans were a dumpster fire because they reaped the benefit.
That's right. I can't believe they gave the reins up to Bill O'Brien and that, being the GM and the head coach.
It was terrible. Terrible.
He's in coaching rehab right now in Alabama, so he'll
come out in a couple of years and be a Super Bowl contender. He'll be like, oh, where was this? And Saban will just sit back and laugh.
Remember they had that huge lead on the Chiefs. They should have been winning.
It's literally like the coaching, coach rehab. You're right. It's literally coach rehabilitation. It fixes them. So that's what every NFL team that's leading the division should be thankful for.
Yep.
Browns fans, stop hating on Baker Mayfield. You should be thankful for him.
That's right. And I think if Baker Mayfield might have taken a game or two off, he probably would not be this injured and be.
Yep, you're right about what you said because I was watching that game and I'm like, he's right. And my thing with Baker is,
he's still got more commercials than wins.
Yes, but that'll always be true. And he could go undefeated, and that'd be true. Thing is with Baker, it's this simple, and it's obviously not just him. Chubb was drafted in the same draft as him, but they have still, even without him, they'd have one of the best defenses in the league, and Chubb would be awesome. Chubb's the best offensive player on the team, obviously. Mm-hmm. But look at the wins before he was there, and look at the wins after. He makes a difference.
Well, obviously.
And while there's the argument
they
where
were incompetent before,
and I'm saying.
Hold on, even before Baker, let's give a big thank you to Stefanski over Freddie Kitchens because that was
Stefanski's put everything together. Chubb's become one of the best running backs in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Garrett's the best defensive player in the NFL, not named Aaron Donald. And he's honestly almost on pretty much an Aaron Donald level anymore. He should be DPOY, and he's probably gonna be.
Yeah, and Freddie Kitchens, you caused me to get a Pittsburgh Finisher shirt that year, so thank you for that. All right, time to get happy, people.
His name might be Kitchens, but he was not cooking.
Excuse me. Time to get happy,
Kitchens was not cooking.
It was not. It was on fire.
Clear the kitchen!
We're doing a 3, 2, 1 countdown here. First, happy birthday. That means 3 birthdays, 2 anniversaries, and 1 trails. Happy birthday, Michael Wilbon. Happy 63rd birthday, Michael Wilbon, last Friday. The current co-host of Pardon the Interruption celebrated his 63rd birthday, and as he rails on analytics, tells those dopes to go home, and is a former sports writer for the Washington Post. He's one of the hosts of the model show for the Big Salad podcast. So happy 63rd birthday to Michael Wilbon, who travels all over the country doing NBA Countdown and having multiple homes in Chicago, Phoenix, and anywhere else he can find a home. Happy 59th birthday last Friday, Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster, the actress, broke through with her role as Iris Steensma in Taxi Driver, a Scorsese film. She also did voiceover work for the Amazing Chan and Chan Clan, for the Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan, Addams Family cartoon, and starred as Wednesday Addams in the new Scooby-Doo movies episode, Wednesday is Missing. She's remembered mainly for her role as Clarice Starling in The Silence of the Lambs and her dialogue with Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal Lecter character, as they are one of the top 10 hero and villain duos all time, according to TV Guide. And happy 52nd birthday yesterday, the kid, Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. began his career in the MLB with the Seattle Mariners and had the opportunity to play with his father, Ken Griffey Sr., for a time. He spent 11 seasons with the Mariners to start with and 9 with the Reds, a brief stint with the White Sox, 2 more in Seattle to cap off his career. He had 630 career home runs, 13-time All-Star, 1997 AL MVP. He was a 10-time Gold Glover, a 7-time Silver Slugger, and was elected to Cooperstown with the highest ever voting total as a record with 99.33% of the vote. And if you didn't know this, Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. actually had an interesting occasion, and this is something they talk about athletes and mental health seriously, but at one point Ken Griffey Jr. was going to attempted suicide when he was in high school. Too many pressures at home and on the ball field, and his father and him had a very strained relationship, and actually they learned from it after the kid came out of his mental health funk, which is grateful for him because he wouldn't have such a great player there in the MLB.
Well, his greatest accomplishment, of course.
3 people and their birthdays.
His greatest accomplishment, I'm obviously joking, is the fact that he's my favorite baseball player to ever live.
Really?
Yes, Ken Griffey Jr. is my favorite baseball player.
DiMaggio.
I don't like DiMaggio.
He's even Dunkin' Donuts and Dinky Donuts. You know?
I don't really like DiMaggio that much. I don't like any Yankees.
Hold on, Ted Williams over Ted Williams.
Yes.
Over Hank Aaron. Babe Ruth.
My favorite baseball player ever.
Okay.
Not the best ever.
Your favorite.
My favorite baseball players of all time Ken Griffey Jr. is the number 1. Chris Bryant's probably
sure?
second. Yes.
I thought it was Joey Votto after this.
No, stop. No, that's the sleeper hit.
So, anything is that all you have to say about for the birthdays?
That was really it. I just had the Ken Griffey
Okay.
one.
Happy anniversary yesterday, 6 years ago. Michael Geiger, the kicker from Michigan State, made a 41-yard field goal in the pouring rain to end the game at Ohio Stadium in a top 10 battle there. That poured down the rain throughout the game.
shoe?
Urban Meyer ran the whole game. It was just a running game. Connor Cook was out for Michigan State and D'Antonio. He came up with a great defensive scheme to bottle up Ohio State in the rain. And here is the clip of that field goal right here.
From 41 for the win. Got it.
And he had to have the air guitar strumming there. And if you did not know this, Michael Geiger has a relation actually that lives in Cardington. So,
What?
yes, so we will talk about that later. But anything, and then a happy anniversary to the Malice at the Palace 17 years ago last Friday. Since Ryan brought it up, we figured we'd talk about the Malice at the Palace, and that was a fight at the end of the Detroit Pistons and Indiana Pacers game. And
It was like 5 suspensions.
to get this in
They made a
perspective
big
here,
untold Netflix documentary on
at
it.
the Palace of Auburn Hills, which is outside of Detroit. This is what happened. All right. Ben Wallace with 45.9 seconds left in the game. Pacers were leading by 15. So Ben Wallace, he's on the Pistons, was fouled by Ron Artest, known as Metta World Peace, when he played for the Pacers there. Then Wallace shoved Metta World Peace, and a fight broke out on the court between both teams. After the fight was broken up, a fan threw a drink at Ron Artest from the stands while he was lying on the scorer's table to calm himself down. And then Artest charged up to the stands, grabbed another fan who he mistakenly believed was the culprit, and immediately escalated in a brawl that lasted for several minutes. And the referees called an end to the game, with the remaining time on the clock. And in the end, the NBA suspended 9 players, including those 2, for a total of 146 games, leading to $11 million in fines. And 5 players were charged with assault and sentenced to probation and community service. 5 fans faced assault charges and were banned from attending Pistons home games for life. Crazy. What do you got to say about those 2 anniversaries there, Ryan?
Well, the Geiger one, I didn't even...
You weren't even
Aware.
You remember that.
Well, no, I remember that, but I wasn't aware of the family member thing.
Right.
And then the Malice Palace, obviously very famous incident, and they made an untold documentary on it on Netflix that I've yet to watch, but it's on my list. I need to watch it.
There you go. That's on your list. You got Thanksgiving break coming up, so there you go.
It's only an hour long.
Yeah, plenty of time. Happy Trails last Wednesday to the Staples Center. The Staples Center is now being renamed Crypto.com Center on Christmas Day after Crypto.com struck a 20-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers, as the Clippers, remember, were leaving at the end of this season, because they're building their own stadium down the street for $700 million over that 20-year deal. And nobody knows what the licensing is expanding, if it's just the names or if it's going to be expanded into something else, so onto other products. So, sayonara to the Staples Center. Anything you got to say about that?
Well, like most things with the Lakers, it's pretty freaking gross, and I don't like it, but, it's the way they are.
Okay.
I mean, I like Kobe.
Remember,
I think Kobe's pretty good.
One of the greatest franchises, and it's either them or Boston for the greatest franchise.
It's Boston.
Okay, it's both.
Well, yeah, one is...
They have more eras.
It's the constant battle of good and evil. One cannot...
Boston
it's Joker, Batman. Yeah.
Boston won more of their championships with Bill Russell in the 50s and the 60s. The Lakers won more in the 80s and the 2000s. That's how it is.
Well, I mean, the Lakers have the 3rd greatest player of all time. And then,
as in who?
Kobe. And then, the 4th or 5th was Kareem.
Okay.
And then, Magic's up there, too. So,
exactly. They got a lot of top 10 players of all time.
But, Bill Russell's, the greatest defensive player, period. So...
True.
And then, I mean, the Celtics I think the Celtics have more depth when it comes to greatest players. But the Lakers, their best GOAT is Kobe, and he's better than any Celtics guy.
True.
So, I mean, I don't know who I prefer, Kobe or LeBron. I think they're both quite amazing, but
it's Kobe.
I think, Kobe was amazing. And It kind of hurts me, but as always, as they always say, times change, people change, things change. Things got to change. I mean, Staples sells Staples, over time. Over time, things are going to change. It's not always going to be Quicken Loans Arena, and you got to move it on. It's just weird because Staples, because it's such a big deal.
Right.
I mean, not everything's MGS, MSG. I don't want to say MGS. MSG.
Or the Boston Garden.
Or the Boston Garden, where it gets to stay the same. I mean, unless they wanted to
the
just...
United Center.
Unless they want to just be Lakers Arena, they're going to have a name on it. So,
Yes. So, all right, time for the big finish. Picks for this week. You ready?
Yes.
All right, 2 minutes for this one. Special big finish. All right. First, Monday Night Football. Buccaneers versus Giants.
I'd like to see the Giants win. It's kind of funny if they do, but it's obviously the Bucs.
Well, I'm going to take the Buccaneers as well. They're up at halftime, 17-10.
Wow.
Thanksgiving Day. Special this week. Cowboys versus Raiders.
I'm going to take Cowboys, but Amari's out and so CD. So, yeah, but Zeke will have a big game. So, Cowboys.
I'm going to take the Raiders. They're going to bounce back here and try to close
You've been wanting them to bounce back lately.
I tried. So, and then Saints versus Bills, Thanksgiving night, NBC.
I think we see a Bills bounce back here.
I would agree with you. I'm going to take a Bills bounce back as well.
Still don't think they're very good, though.
I'm going to see Josh Allen not turn the ball over 5 times.
Yes.
All right, week 12, Bengals versus Steelers. I'll be there.
I'm sorry, Quinn. Bengals.
Steelers have a bounce back here. I got to take my own team, be a homer. Patriots versus Titans.
Patriots, easy.
Oh, Titans here. I think I'm going to...
No.
Vrabel out-schemed him once before.
If Patriots win this, Bill Belichick's the leader for Coach of the Year.
Possible. Packers versus Rams.
Oh, Rams. Potential NFC Championship.
Potential NFC Championship. Packers, bounce back game, them at home. Ravens versus Browns, Sunday Night Football.
I honestly think the Browns steal this. I think they're going to get the right mojo in. They're going to know they have to win these games here at the end of the year if they're going to make playoffs.
Yep.
I think you're going to see a good game from Baker, and you're going to see a really good game from Chubb, and the defense is going to hold up.
I think I'm going to take the Browns as well for some reason this week, and I don't know why, but I have a feeling.
It just makes sense.
I just have a feeling. I think the Ravens are going to be running out of options at some point. At some point, when you have no good running game except Lamar, they're going to be running at it. They're just running out.
You got the best defensive player in the NFL pretty much for this year, which is Garrett.
Yes.
On him.
Thanksgiving foods this week. What are you taking, stuffing or mashed potatoes?
These are my 2 favorites. Why did you put them in the same? They're so similar because that's why they're my favorites. They're similar. I gotta take mashed potatoes.
Well, I don't eat either of these, so I guess I'll go with mashed potatoes just to vote for you.
It's so good.
So there you
Gravy
go.
or without gravy, it's still good. It's got double. You can mix it up halfway through.
Corn casserole or green bean casserole?
People always go nuts for the green bean casserole. I've had it like once or twice, and it was pretty all right. I'm more of a corn casserole guy.
Yep.
It's more sweet.
I'm corn casserole guy, too. I like it better. Kind of like cornbread with corn in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just corn-based. It's got actual corn in it. And to close it off, pumpkin pie or pecan pie.
Easy pumpkin pie.
Yes, it's pumpkin pie. I don't know why my family thinks it's time to have an apple pie at Thanksgiving. No, it's America's favorite, but it's not fall festive.
No, it's not. That's the spring.
All right. Hey, you got a shout out before we end?
Well, there's always a thank you, and then you give your little television updates. So, my thank you, because this should be the most thankful of all thank yous.
It should be.
Because it's the Thanksgiving thank you.
Yeah.
So you know who there's no good reason for it to be Joey Vaughn. I can't.
Yeah, you know, Canadian Thanksgiving was a month ago.
Yeah. So,
You usually have this already on your mind.
I usually do, but there's so many good picks for this one.
You better pick one.
Like, Herb's a good option.
It's Herb.
Chubb was good. I mean, you know what? He deserves it.
Who, Chubb or Herb?
We're giving the thank you to the Patrick Mahomes. Because old Pat
He
Mahomes
just changes left and right.
coming back to Mahomes' form. He's getting them back. I mean, he's getting the Chiefs back to playoff contentions. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, but he's putting the team on his back to say we're making the playoffs, and I appreciate that. And I want to make sure everybody still knows that while the battle is going on for Ryan Klinger's love of his favorite quarterback in the NFL between Herbert Mahomes and Cam, Mahomes is still one of my favorites. Still love watching Mahomes. He's still like the most entertaining player in the league, hands down. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Mahomes, because I want everybody to be reassured in how much I like Mahomes. Mm-hmm. And he's been really impressing me as of late, and I'm impressed with how he came over the adversity. And I still think it's a down year for the Chiefs, but a down year for the Chiefs is a playoff loss. So, making the playoffs is still a down year for them because they're perennial Super Bowl contenders. So thank you, Patrick Mahomes, for just being the best darn quarterback.
Well, my little television update for you
All
here
right,
is
all right.
on Wednesday this week. Tune in to TLC Wednesday at 8 o'clock, My 600-Pound Life, 4th episode of this season. It has a guy on there from Marion. His kids actually went to River Valley. He graduated from Harding. So tune in, record that. It's going to be going, and it's always replayed the next night on Thursday as well. So be prepared. I would say hit the record button there. And on behalf of Sort of Sports, Big Salad Podcast, we are thankful for all of our viewers and subscribers for this year. That's what we are celebrating this Thanksgiving. So thank you for listening on, especially you, Chad Holt. You're going to get a favorite listener of the year award at some point. So
You serious? We're
favorite
actually
fan.
pulling off?
Well, I don't know if we're going to do that.
That'd be pretty
but
cool.
That'd be pretty cool. But we're going to get a video of giving you an award secretly. You're never going to know when we're coming by. We'll give you a plaque and everything.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. And maybe a $27 gift card to Subway or something.
I like 27.
Yeah,
It's
something
just
weird.
such a random number.
That's what we want, random number. So, all right.
It's for the big salad. It's for Suzy Q's for a big salad.
There we go. All
We're
right.
helping people with their eating benefits. We're just great people here. But thank you to all the listeners.
All right. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We will see you next week here on the Big Salad Podcast. This is Quinn Maseko speaking for the Big Salad Podcast, a Ryan Klinger production. Please note that portions of this podcast were edited before the final cut was produced, and this episode was recorded on November 22nd. The sections of Toss Up, Happy Time, and The Big Finish are copied from the ESPN show Pardon the Interruption. There was no intention to infringe on the copyrights of these segments and their related music. There was also no intention to infringe on the copyright of the owner of the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving scene. Stay tuned for our next podcast next Monday here on the Sort of Sports Podcast YouTube channel.